Boże, kurde.
So you would take away men's right to vote on this issue?
I mean, I think everyone should be able to vote. So, but
But if it guaranteed, and I think it would,
Then
if you
sure.
removed men's right to vote on this issue, I think it would likely guarantee women's ability to have an
sure, if
abortion.
women can determine their own, like,
So then would you be in favor of walking back men's right to vote on this issue?
I don't know. I mean,
Okay, I need answers from other people then.
no.
Just get onto the mic.
Okay. Simple answer, no. I
Okay.
think everybody should have the right to vote on anything in
Sure.
our country.
Okay, what about you?
No, they should be
Even, okay,
I think they should have equal rights, like both should be able to vote on all issues.
But so even if, as somebody who's pro-choice, even if you could secure women's right to abortion forever by preventing men from voting on this
That's
issue?
not fair. Like, I don't think that's fair because if I do that to you guys can turn around and like, oh, I'm gonna do that to you too. And then this is like a war that never ends. So it should be equal and
Okay.
like equal competition.
I think it's dangerous as well because as a woman we have sometimes the ick to have a child, right? That feeling is
Okay.
very strong, and I think men would like to have children as well at some point. And if a woman can take away a man's passion to have a child, like we women have, for like the ick to have a child, I think it's very damaging to a man as well.
Okay. But yeah, Andrew's not here. You did want to talk about abortion, but I think you have, are you, Dominica? Did I say it right?
Yeah.
You're pro-life, right? So why don't you guys have a brief conversation on this then?
Well, I mean, I have my position pretty much. So,
I definitely think that the man should have a say because without the man, there's nothing in there, you know. They're both in it together. So I think that's just fair.
Well, not about the whole voting thing. So just going back to abortion rights in general. So you don't think, you're pro-life, right?
Right.
So then I'm assuming you're not in favor of, even early on in the pregnancy, you're not in favor of women being allowed to have abortions, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
She says 20 weeks, what's your
No.
cutoff?
oh,
Viability? Is that your cutoff?
for having an abortion?
Yeah, is it viability?
It's if you can deliver, then you should deliver. Like if the baby can survive.
Outside the womb, so viability. Okay. So my understanding, Dominica, life begins at conception for you?
Yeah,
Okay. So
for sure.
go on.
I mean, I disagree with you because I mean, you're literally taking a life out of someone. You know, you're telling them no, you cannot live, and I just think that's kind of sad to like just take that right from someone, from a baby who hasn't been entirely processed yet. So, yeah.
I would say what everyone has a different definition of life, and so that is why it's like a pretty hard topic. But I do feel like, aside from that, I feel like we have bodily autonomy. So I would bring up the point of like an organ donor. Do you think it's okay to give up an organ that wouldn't affect you to save someone's life?
Do I think? Say that again. Sorry.
Like,
I'm like,
aren't like kidneys, like you can lose one, it doesn't matter, like donate it.
right, but this is a whole life. It's not just
Yeah,
a kid.
but
Just lose the
Yeah,
child,
sure.
it doesn't matter. Just throw it in a bin. We don't care.
sure, but it's someone
sad.
else's life. If they have a
Yeah.
So does one life, like, do you really have the authority to say, like, I think there's accountability. Like, if you got pregnant, you got pregnant. There's birth control and all that. So
Yeah.
But I think like if you don't want to have a kid, you kind of shouldn't, because you're not going to be a good parent. In my opinion, it could change.
Well, you could
There's
just
a-
put it for adoption.
Yeah,
but if you
There's a
not-
difference between using your bodily autonomy to save a life and
Yeah.
using your bodily autonomy to end a life.
Yeah, but should you be forced to go through with
But if
something
you-
for another person's life?
But if you don't
Yes.
want to have children,
Yes.
you
But
should
how
use
far
your
do you
protection,
go?
right?
It's not
If you were not careful even if you and don't believe it's a practicing life safe in the womb,
Yeah.
it will be a life.
But after
Like,
a
even if
period
it's
of
not
time, but
alive
right now it's
yet,
not
sperm
alive.
it could
And if
be.
you kill it, you're taking away any chance of that.
There
life.
are not
Even if you don't
studies
believe
that
it's
it's
a
not
life
alive yet,
It
so
will be.
it's-
Okay, sperm could be alive. life.
Yes,
So
children
when
will
you
be alive too, exactly.
Yes, and it's sacred, and you shouldn't do it outside of a woman
And if you do
in the
not want to have
context of
children,
marriage.
use protection. Everybody,
So-
everybody watching this
Wait,
podcast,
though, every
use a
time a guy
condom.
masturbates, he kills so many babies. All these sperm
No,
kills so many,
it's not.
so many
Any
babies.
the potential though.
Never-
That is, oh yeah.
Well,
Literally,
here.
you guys are saying that. Like, I'm saying a
So-
sperm is alive.
Some,
You guys are
like,
so brutal.
Really, really extreme Christians like don't even believe in like
Contraception?
Yeah, contraception.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
But it's like the same. I don't know. You can.
You have a
take
right
that
to
logic
religion
really
for
far.
sure.
Like,
Super far
it's-
from the microphone.
You should make whatever podcast condoms would be so funny as merch.
That would be
good, I guess.
hilarious.
Oh my god, it would be so funny as
Here,
merch.
well, here's a
I don't think
question.
they're
Oh my
So
God.
those of you,
great.
women who are pro-choice, do you think men should be able to escape the responsibility of child support?
No, I mean,
Pro-choice. You're.
I'm both.
Okay, you're both. So you're fine with like women getting abortion? Are you fine with a woman getting an abortion because she's just not financially ready to have a child?
No, I think that's so stupid. But we live in a world where you just kind of like, it's
Okay, you
safer
think it's
to
stupid,
allow it.
but okay, so you can allow it
Yeah.
for she's not financially ready to have a child.
Stupid, though.
Okay,
Very
so should a man be able to escape financial responsibility?
I mean, if I'm going to stick to what I'm saying, yeah, I guess
Okay.
so.
Pro-choice, should men not have to pay child support if they don't want to?
Pro-choice? Should men have to not pay?
You're pro-choice. I was just
Yeah, I'm pro-choice. I think men should always pay child support
okay.
if there's a child.
Why?
Because you brought the child to the world.
But what
Wait,
if,
so
but what if he wanted you to have an abortion
so
and you didn't?
wait, so just so I'm clear.
Well, he didn't use protection, so.
So
you
then
opened
you
your
then
legs.
say
Hold on,
that
hold
a
on.
girl not.
Hold on, let me get the answer from everybody. Pro-choice, pro-choice, pro-choice. Should men, let's say a guy hooks up the girl, she gets pregnant, he doesn't want the kid, she does. Should he have to pay child support?
No. No.
I believe that child support is different from like abortion rights if that's what you're
It's-
getting to. I don't know what like if there's a connection.
Yeah, there's no
There's
connection.
hold on, there absolutely is a
Yes.
connection.
Yes.
Why don't you
Is
just answer the question?
Oh, I literally thought you were like trying to make a point about it. I didn't.
I'm about to
I
make a point, but
genuinely
you can answer the
didn't.
question.
I said yes.
Yes, men should have to pay child
Yes.
support. Okay, what about you?
I feel
Wow, you gotta speak into the mic.
Okay. I think I know where you're going with this, and I actually do believe that. I mean, I don't exactly know how we'd be able to make this work out, but abortion should be somewhat of a collective decision. I am pro-choice, but I think in a world where men or the baby daddy or whoever does have somewhat of a say in whether this fetus is going to be terminated or not, then yes, child support should be required. Do you understand what I'm saying with that? Because I know you're trying to say women have the choice to just get rid of their child if they want to, whereas men don't, and if they walk away from it, they're shamed and they can be taken to court.
They are not
And-
always ashamed. I think some men can
No, I'm
also
saying
not
that-
pay for
Hold
their
on.
child.
I did not say that they're ashamed, that they are shamed by society for being deadbeats.
I'll come back to your point. What do you think?
I mean, I think that it's like kind of, I guess, I don't know, like because think like, so what if the man is he wants her to get an abortion, he's not, doesn't value that, but what if the woman, even though like, so say like you're pro-life, so if you got knocked up by a dude that was like he wants you to have the abortion but you didn't, now you're not receiving funding for that, you're not getting no child support, and you have to deal with that alone. So it's like you know what I mean, like you still have the choice, but would you do it? You would just suffer probably, you know what I mean? You wouldn't have money.
So do you want to answer the
I
question?
think-
As well.
You sassy, but but yes, I think they should.
Okay.
Because of that
in her
reason.
situation, but what about the situation? Well,
In general, it would make sense that, yeah, obviously, like, if they had the
it would
choice.
always
but-
be the situation that the woman opted to keep the child because there could be no child support absent the child being born. So the situation would always be he didn't want the child and she did. There's no other scenario.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, she wants, because she's, like, religious, or are you religious? That's why. So, like, you wanted to keep it, but then, so you're going to keep it, but he doesn't want you to keep it. And so you keep it because you're religious, but then now you don't have any funding, and you're
I mean,
you're
you
stuck.
can make secular anti-abortion arguments.
I
They're
think
not all
you
steep.
also-
Plenty of non-religious
Yeah, well, but
people
just-
don't want
whatever-
abortions
whatever
because it makes
reason,
them
whatever
feel
reason.
But
coerced or
horrible,
any other-
exactly. And
Hold on. I got to make my argument here. So those of you, I think all of you said that, yes, men should have to pay child support.
No, I said no.
Well, you're on the fence on pro-life, pro-choice.
But I'm not.
But so going back to your thing, so you're saying, well, yes, I think this is what you said. You said in a world, you think that both
I
men
don't
and women.
honestly, like,
Too far from the mic.
I don't have an answer for you, a clear answer for you about that, but I'm saying in a perfect world where, I don't know,
Well, we don't.
like I
Okay,
said, it's
how
more
about the
of a-
current world?
should men always be required to pay child support?
No. Okay. So
That's your question. Yeah.
sure.
No. Not necessarily.
I say no
Yeah,
as well.
actually, no. If that's
Oh,
I said
what?
no.
I didn't know it was always. I thought it was like, it can be debated, but like that's the default in my opinion. Like
Well,
you should
now
have the
that-
right to go to court and say I don't want to pay child
But if the
support.
man
Or
doesn't
woman has
acknowledge
choice,
the
man
child, he
has choice.
doesn't.
And a lot of
supposed to pay
times in
anything.
these cases,
Why
it's
would
like
the
a
man-
guy that stays with this woman and with the promise of like helping raise this child and then ends up leaving.
So the woman's just going to suffer financially.
Yes. And so it's like, what the fuck? Like, where did you go?
So you opened
so
your legs,
here-
right?
What?
You opened your legs, so it's action reaction, right? You made a choice. Stick up with that choice. It's action reaction, like consequences. And I also think if a man doesn't acknowledge the child, he shouldn't be paying child support. And I think a lot of women also get pregnant in hopes of getting money out of a man as a scheme as well. And I think that should be
I
consideration.
don't think that's a
as well.
lot of women.
Oh, girl, it is. No, it
I mean,
is.
so do you think there are men out there? There's literally an entire legal and court system that will force and compel men to pay child support
We do not
that
have that.
they don't want to.
In the Netherlands, you do not have that.
If men were just willing to pay child support for unwanted children, they would. But there's an enforcement arm of the
We
government
do not
that
have that.
forces men. It's actually, we've totally done away with debtors' prisons. So we deemed it like unethical, essentially, to send people to prison for financial debts, except when it comes to unpaid child support. As a man, you can go to prison for that.
In the Netherlands, you do not have that. If you are pregnant
we're in
as
the
a
United
woman
States, so-
and you just say, I do not acknowledge this man as a father, you will not sign him on the birth certificate. He will not pay shit and he's not
Well, but-
entitled to the child as well.
Hold on, but in the Netherlands, could a woman say that this is the father and I want him to pay child
Would
support?
be a
Can
very-
can he be legally compelled to pay child
Would be
support?
very hard because if he
Hold on. I mean, I
isn't
can't
on the
believe I'm reading
papers
this.
and everything, it would be
Child
very hard.
support,
It's,
Netherlands.
it's possible, but it will be hard because he didn't put his name on the paper.
The government of the Netherlands, the parent is obliged to pay child maintenance until the child turns 21.
If he acknowledges the child, yeah. Is he
That's older
acknowledge
than
the
the
child? If he
US.
doesn't
You're
acknowledge
saying-
the child, it's a different story because he isn't entitled to that child as well. So she can just say he's not the father. He will not be on the birth certificate whatsoever.
Giovanni J.
so he will not
donated
pay.
$200. The level of understanding on this issue is 0. When does the child establish value that it can't be killed? Now justify why you drew the line there. You can't draw a coherent line post-conception.
Well, she's saying viability. So once the baby is capable of surviving outside the womb, that's her line. But back to this, I got to, sorry, Giovanni, I do have to move it back to the child support thing. So I don't know how it is in the Netherlands. I'm not privy to that. Speaking about the US system and the system in a lot of other countries. So yeah, the man can be forced and compelled to pay child support.
That's crazy.
Even if he didn't want to. He could, here's a
So
scenario.
crazy.
A guy could have a one-night stand with a girl with she could say, I'm on birth control, boom, 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 I don't want to have a kid. She lied about it, whatever. And then she gets pregnant. He just wanted to have fun, one-night stand. He could be on the hook for 18 years of child support.
So if I get pregnant on purpose by some billionaire, for example, just because I want to have like the money and I know he's rich, I can do that and sue him in America for child support.
You can, you can try to get child
That's
you can-
dangerous. It's dangerous to be a man.
People
You
do
see my
it.
point?
People
It's
do it.
dangerous to be a man out there.
Well,
It's
that's-
dangerous.
But so, I guess going back to this, so you guys kind of flip-flopped on your answer here a little bit because I was asking, do you think men should be like required to pay child support? And you guys said yes. You said yes, 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 yes.
So,
So-
I didn't understand the question. I thought you were asking generally should we default to men, like not every single man has to pay child support. Of course
Well-
like it should be debatable in court.
But it's not.
I disagree with that.
Well, hold on. Okay, so the current state of affairs in this country, in every single state in this country, if a man has a child with a woman, wanted or unwanted, doesn't matter, any single woman can go to the court, go to, depends on the state, child services, whatever it is, and she can go after him for child support. The man in no instance can say, go to the court, and his defense can never be, I don't want to pay child support. The court will be like, you're going to pay child support. So you disagree? Like, what do you mean like, that is the law. So I
Yeah.
don't know what
Oh,
debate
well,
we're supposed to have.
You asked me if I believe in that should be, and I'm saying if I made the rules, that would not be the case.
So you're saying in some cases the man should not?
Yeah, so in some cases,
Okay, so-
if the man is like super broke and can't support
No,
himself, there's no.
let's say he's wealthy. He just,
Yeah, but I'm saying there are cases where you don't have to pay child support.
no, okay, well, I mean, if the man's making no money, actually, well, that's not even true. If the man is not making any money, and the woman presses it enough, brings it to court, the court is still going to attempt to start charging him child support. He might not be able to pay it, but he's going to owe it. And if he doesn't start paying it, he's going to end up with
In
there's gonna be
California, they
interest.
cancel your license.
There's going to be interest. Yeah, you'll get your license canceled, and eventually you'll probably end up in prison or jail.
Her answer is no, basically.
I disagree that I think that's wrong.
Yeah.
What do you mean? You think I'm wrong about the law?
No, I don't think you're wrong. I think the law
think- okay,
is.
I see what you're
wouldn't
saying.
do the law if I was like a lawmaker. Like, that's
Okay,
all I'm
so
saying.
so you're fine, for example, then with men just not paying child support.
I think it should default to men paying child support. I think as a man, you have a right to go to court. You should have the right to go to court and say, I should not pay child support for this reason. And you should be able to escape that.
So then, bringing it back to abortion, does a woman need to go to court and give her reasons for why she wants an abortion, or can she get an abortion for any fucking reason without any judicial oversight?
I think that that's probably the best case scenario is that you are actually looking at the situations. Because I don't think you should get an abortion for no reason.
But can a woman get an abortion for any reason?
Do I believe that should be a right?
No, I'm just asking you what is.
Oh, well, I think there are states that's legal, yeah. Abortion is
Right,
legal.
abortion rights have been limited in some states, but many states, women can get abortions for any reason. They don't need justification.
I would also say that in abortion, the reason to get an abortion, there can't be no reason. So, I would say there's, a better reason and a worse reason. I would say that, a worse reason is you can support the child and you, if you can support the child and you want a kid, eventually, and it's just not the right time. I think not the right time is kind of, not as good of a reason as if you were, essayed. There's, a variety of reasons you could get
I would
one.
argue most women getting abortions is just because they were irresponsible.
Why would you argue that?
The men are
Because-
irresponsible. They are
Sure,
the ones.
fine.
could you-
The men
could
are
you-
irresponsible too.
But you opened your legs, so you're
so,
irresponsible
yeah,
as well.
most abortions are just for convenience. It's not.
What's the,
So what? If
Thing
I
on
don't want
that.
it.
I wouldn't say it's used as birth control. I know that's an argument, but I would say so what? Even if they were irresponsible, I think they should be allowed to do that.
It's our body. Are you a woman? You know what it's like to be a woman? You have a uterus, you have periods, you know nothing about being a woman. You're like, oh, get rid of your baby. Don't get rid of your baby. Who are you to make that decision? There should be no government. If I want to, I should be able to. If I'm depressed, because I'm depressed, I'm just sad. I don't want to have baby in 9 months. I should be able to.
what do you
So-
mean?
You are
wait.
entitled to your opinion, but I'm entitled to mine. That's just my opinion.
Wait, so, no uterus, no opinion? Is that your argument?
No opinion about women's uterus.
Okay. Well, it seems to assume that men are incapable of having understanding, but, the entire premise, it's basically.
Of women's organs, yes.
What about if you're getting an abortion and you know the gender of the baby and it's a woman?
What does that have to do with anything?
Because you're talking about women's rights, but what about that woman's right to survive that's inside of you?
I don't see it as a woman when I don't consider it life. At 9 months, whatever month, I don't know the science, is life, and I don't think I killed anybody.
Oh, okay.
So, the whole, no uterus, no opinion, it's a logical fallacy. So, okay, neither males nor females have a monopoly on what is right or wrong, true or false. While the ramifications of the debate might have more immediate effect on a pregnant woman's body, I don't think that alone does not disqualify men from forming well-reasoned beliefs on the topic.
But they don't
You
really
can have
to.
beliefs. That's why you can vote. It doesn't mean you can ban our rights about our body,
Well, hold
our
on.
organs.
So if-
Do you know
It's not
any
your
law
body.
that bans anything related to your organs, males' organs?
Absolutely.
Like what?
Absolutely.
What, is there any ban?
There are.
So,
Hey,
okay.
give me one ban. Federally.
So I'll give you something that is legal. So something that's legal. So circumcision.
No, I'm saying something that's banned,
Circumcision.
not legal or not legal.
Yes, female genital mutilation is illegal. Male genital mutilation is widely practiced among 99% of the males
Giovanni
born in
J.
this country.
donated $200. I should be able to murder because I'm depressed. What a fucking ghoul. If men can't have a position on abortion, then you can have no opinion on war since you don't
And
register
this
for
leads me
FS.
to my next bodily
I
autonomy
agree.
argument,
Yeah,
Giovanni.
sure.
Thank you.
I agree.
So, yeah, men have forced military conscription in this country.
Okay.
So that's something the government. Actually, this is a bigger infringement on bodily autonomy by the government because nobody is forcing women to have sex.
Huh?
Nobody is forcing women to have sex.
Besides
I know about
sexual assault
nobody,
and
but-
stuff like that.
Okay,
my God.
fine. I'll just.
Literally, all the cults,
God.
all the organization, all the corruption. Jesus, open your eyes and read the news.
Okay, probably 95%.
Where is that?
Stop.
Okay, sorry.
95% of abortions probably result from consensual sex. I'll just grant you that some abortions are due to incest and SA. I'll just grant it. The vast majority of abortions arise out of consensual sex. Do you agree or disagree?
I don't know the stats, but I think majority is. Yeah, I agree. Majority.
Consensual sex. Okay, so it's not wrong for me to state that. So the government is not compelling anybody to go and have consensual sex.
Yeah.
We're not compelled.
Yeah.
And most abortions are a result from consensual sex.
Yeah.
However, the government has a direct and clear path to forced military conscription, which has to do with male-only bodily autonomy, because only men in this country are forced to register for the selective service. In the event of a draft, only men can be drafted.
Going to a war is to help the society, right? You guys are fighting wars, so you're helping America to be America.
Really?
The woman, when you're doing abortion, is literally harming our body. So it's literally not the same thing.
Sending a man off to war to get himself killed is not
You want to go to war?
harming his body.
You can go to war if you want to go to war. If
Yeah,
you want
but
women to
women
go to
aren't
war with
forced.
men, that's okay.
Women aren't
Men are forced
to
to
go to
fight.
war.
Because that's different.
Men are.
There are different concepts. Going to war and
It's way
killing
worse than
yourself.
abortion.
Yeah,
It's way
you
worse
die.
than abortion.
It's
You
different,
die.
but it's a bodily
That's not
autonomy
true.
issue.
Yes,
Several
here.
100,000 young
Have you
men
ever
in
been in a
Ukraine are like
battlefield at all?
blown to pieces.
I did a military
Against
thing as a
their-
Dutch
Yeah,
thing.
against their will. I don't
Wait,
know.
just say, so a woman not being allowed to get an abortion is worse than war. Say it.
Wait, let me think about this.
You just
Wait, I don't think that is okay.
Say it.
You are-
No,
No,
say
I'm
it.
not gonna say that. You're gonna make
Say
it
it.
a soundbite. Like
That's
you're just,
literally your position. Say it.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying
Say
they're
it.
two different situations. There's no comparison
Just
between
say
the
it,
two. Why am I saying?
You're the one making the comparison.
I'm saying
You're
there's
like,
no-
Brian, name a way that men don't have bodily autonomy. I literally
No,
just
body, like in your organ.
Yeah.
organ.
Yes,
When you go
my
to war,
body,
you know
bro.
what they shoot?
your organs.
It's different. You're not going to a hospital to get something taken out, right?
I mean, if
No,
you
you're
get
going to
something put in you
battlefield to
during
get
the
your
war,
leg
yeah.
shot off. It's great.
In my opinion, it's different.
I would
Yeah,
love
you're right.
to hear your
It's
opinion on
way worse.
transgenders, though.
You know what?
Forced military conscription is way worse
Yes.
than women's lack of abortion access in some states. 100% agree with you. Way worse.
I think men should go to war. Women should have abortion. That's my
But
opinion.
why is it, if you are a woman, you can...
How about men are not forced and women are not forced?
Exactly, that's what I'm going to say.
Yeah, but so, okay,
Why
here's-
is it as a woman we can always say, oh no, I'm a woman. It will hurt my feelings, I cannot do that. And a man be like, fuck, I have to do this. We want, as a woman, we want a strong man who's manly. But if he gives us a compliment, it's sexual assault. If he helps, makes choices, is horrible, he's a horrible man.
Overgeneralizing.
Can I speak? Thank you. You're great.
Roasted.
Thank you. You're amazing. Good girl.
Okay.
Either way, why is it always like that? You know what I mean? Yeah, great.
Can I say something?
Of
If
course.
you're pro-choice, why aren't you letting your baby be pro-choice to grow in
Like I
life?
said, I don't consider it a baby. I consider it like not alive
A
before a
fetus,
certain.
which
Yeah,
means
if
baby.
it,
But
you're
if
taking
it
their choice
doesn't, if you
to
cannot
lose.
take it out.
You're taking out their natural choice to live, though. So
Like I said, like you guys are also, women are also taking the natural choice of sowing sperm to live when you masturbate. So it's like,
Wait,
at what
I
point
just
do you draw
want
the
you-
line? You can draw any line arbitrarily. You know, you can draw your line. I draw my line. What's wrong with that?
Let me ask you a question. What do you think was worse? Let's say, and it's not, but
There-
let's say abortion was just 100% banned in this country. What do you think is worse? A ban on abortion or the current state of affairs when it comes to forced military conscription in men?
Like I said,
What's worse?
everything
Just say it.
exists in a
Tell me it's
context.
worse. No, just
This
tell me
is-
it's worse.
No,
Tell me it's worse.
Why?
then.
Why are you forcing me to tell you something I don't believe in?
That's what you literally were arguing this.
Do not scream at each other.
I'm saying these two are
Calm down.
different. So you're not answering my like. There's not a single organ we're like forcing you to take out.
Oh, if you get drafted into the military, they shoot your organs. It's like law order. You do not have a choice. They shoot you. What do you think they're shooting? Your hair extensions?
Yeah, maybe.
Calm down.
Yeah.
How about just don't force the men? Like then you can like.
Yeah.
But there'd be,
It goes
we would
the
have
other
no
way
defense.
around as well.
I know,
Men are
but,
not monsters.
but I still
Then
think
we would
women
die
should
as a
get-
country, though.
Yeah, I know, and that sucks, and that's why they make them.
How about this? Should women be drafted?
I mean, if they're like able to like fight, I guess. Like, I mean, like, listen, like I'm a little girl. Like I work out, but I don't really think I could do that many push-ups and do as good as a man probably, or the average man. But sure.
Well,
But you
then-
want to be
Sure, if
the
you
same
wanna.
as the man. You want the same rights. But when a war breaks out, you want to stand in the kitchen.
No, I'm
Feminist
saying.
until war comes.
Yeah, you
I'm
want to
saying-
be in
I'm
the
saying
kitchen like,
sure.
oh no, I'm tiny.
Sure, if that's
Don't
what
shoot
makes it
me.
even-
I think
y'all-
full female units would be an interesting thing because you talk about wartime, right? And a 200-pound man and a 100-pound girl deployed, is she going to be able to drag him?
Who cares?
All female
I will
units.
So
say-
should women be able to
maybe.
volunteer for the military and get the same exact fucking pay as their male counterparts who are putting in more physical work?
In the Netherlands.
Women get paid the
Big
same
Sass
amount of
Energy
money.
donated $200. Brian, if you can, you should have your assistant pull up the Bill Burr cake batter comparison to abortion. It's on YouTube.
I don't know if it's a Netflix will like copyright anything because it's probably a Netflix stand up, so we can't do it. But Big Sass Energy, I really appreciate that, man.
Either way.
But all of you are probably fine with women volunteering for the
No.
military.
No.
Women should be women should be.
In the Netherlands,
should women
if you
be
are
banned
16
from volunteering?
I mean, if you want to. I mean, if you want to say like that, you're saying like women should be like have to sign up
Wait.
for the draft and stuff.
No. So, okay. So currently women can volunteer to be part of the military.
Can't anyone volunteer?
Well, yeah, men and women can
Yeah.
volunteer. Only men can be forced
Well, then,
through the draft.
then if that, if women are allowed to get abortions and you force the women to also sign up, then sure.
In the Netherlands, when you're 16 years old, men and women, you get a letter at home that you have to go to war if the war breaks out. Men and women. There's no choice. You want to be equal as a woman? Better. You fight as a man then. Shut up.
If they stop,
You cannot stand in the kitchen and be stupid.
You know,
no, you fight.
if they want to stop complaining about the abortion stuff and you just gotta sign up for the draft, sure. I think women should be allowed to have abortions though.
I know the workers can be like you.
Okay. But I'm just a little confused because you said, well, I wouldn't like, oh, aren't men stronger? And like,
Yeah, I mean, don't they
men would be
disqualify
better.
people for like certain things? Like if you're like
No, they allow women to volunteer.
They lower
they're
the standards
different-
for
yeah,
them.
so I guess they
Yeah,
lower the
they
standards.
Yeah,
lower
they
the-
actually have smaller, lower fitness.
But they get paid
test
the exact
standards.
I guess if they get, well, that's not my fault. I'm not 6 feet tall.
Unfair.
I mean, it sucks that I'm not a 6 foot tall, buff, like muscle mommy, but like, I can't change that.
It's just interesting. Women should be allowed to volunteer for the military and they should be paid just the same as men, but also men make for better soldiers, but they shouldn't be paid the same.
If they're
And
both
also,
in-
I don't think I should be drafted.
If
Weaker
they're both
men
being
shouldn't
forced.
be in the draft either then.
What's that?
Weaker men
Yeah.
shouldn't be paid as much either.
And what makes a man weaker? Like,
Well,
when
we're
you
saying
say-
that about women, like
Weaker,
right now.
labor.
But he's still
can
a
you
man,
straighten
right?
your mic a little bit?
You can like force me to sign up
But
for the
they
draft.
have the advantage of just being a man.
Yes,
That's-
like you can
so-
force me to sign up if you want, but like it's not my fault. I'm not a 6 foot tall, buff muscle mommy.
I just think, last thing on the whole like child support thing, bringing it back a little bit here, I just think it's crazy that the same arguments, like, for example, let's say, let me frame it like this. For those of you who said, mentioned, pay child support, whatever. A guy comes to you and he's like, yeah, I don't want to pay child support, didn't want to have a kid. What would you, but hey, with the current state of affairs, so you could say, well, it should be this way. But the current state of affairs is if a guy hooks up with a girl, she has a kid, she decides to keep the kid, she can, and most often will, force him to pay child support through the court system. So we can talk about what should be, what, future down the road, but that's how it is right now. So if a guy were to come to you and like your brother, your male friend, and he's like, man, I hate paying these child supports, I hate paying this child support, it really sucks. What would you say to him?
I would.
Tough? Shouldn't have done that?
No,
Should've
I
kept
have
your
no
legs closed?
reason to like. I don't like think that men. I'm not like, yeah, you better pay, buddy. Like, I think. I mean, I would comfort like my brother if he's like upset about something.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I would.
But I mean, you can't really offer him anything aside from just what? Like, oh, you shouldn't have done that?
Like offer advice what to do.
So there's nothing he can do about it.
Yeah.
He can't escape his responsibility. So you really the only thing you can say is you shouldn't have done that.
Well, if I were to give advice, I mean, yeah, but like there's kind of no point in saying that it's already done.
Right, but it's interesting. The same arguments if a woman was like wanting to get an abortion and we said, well, tough, you shouldn't have done that. You're gonna have to deal with the ramifications. Women can always escape. Well, in most states in this country, women can just, look, you can go to a different state, get abortion in a different state. Women can always escape their responsibility when it comes to this topic. Men can never escape their responsibility.
I disagree. That's equivalent.
That's fact though.
That's a fact.
No, I don't think that paying child support is like the same. It's not.
My body, my choice.
Yeah, because it's literally carrying a baby.
No, my body, my choice.
But if
So
I-
what about these men who are going to have for 18 years a lower standard of life? Let's say they have to physically labor. A lot of men are in construction work. What if a man, in an effort to not have his life financially fucked, works an extra 10 hours a week, and then it just further breaks down his body over the 20 years that he's doing some construction job? That's his body.
Like I said before, I wouldn't
You
make
just don't
that
value
rule.
male
I
labor.
wouldn't. Oh my God, I wouldn't make that rule. That's not my.
But that's how it is. So I'm talking
Okay,
about
I disagree
what
with it.
If you take away child
She
support, then
disagrees with the law,
there's no
Yeah, I can disagree with
ramifications.
I don't
I
hold that
mean-
value, so you can't make you can't like say that because the law exists that's my logic. It's not my logic. That's the thing.
I'm just saying, man, you're like downplaying the serious impact that it could have on a man's life. You don't think there's an impact it could have
How
on
am
a
I
man's life?
downplaying?
Because
You're saying, well, it's the woman has to, carry the child for 9 months.
Well, I'm not saying that about child support. I'm saying that about abortion.
I think what
That's-
you are
I'm
saying
talking
is
about
like
child
if a
support.
woman cannot pay for it, she can abort the child because he will be in a horrible situation. She cannot pay for it; it will be horrible for the child. But if the man cannot pay for it, it's the same thing.
Yeah.
So you want to be equal,
I
but only
agree.
for a woman again. That's kind of horrible.
No, I agree with you that men shouldn't have to pay child support if they can't afford it.
But can he
Let's
then
assume-
make the decision
But
for
then you're
her to lose the
forcing
child? Because
women.
nobody can pay for it then. So are you really pro-life if nobody can pay for the child?
Am I really? I don't understand.
If the
sorry.
man cannot pay for the child, the woman cannot pay for the child, would you keep the child then? Because you're pro-life.
Well, if no one wants to abort the child, like
How about this? Let me ask you a question.
Adoption.
I think this will make things a little easier. A really rich woman gets pregnant, and her only objection is she just doesn't want to have the kid. Can she get an abortion?
I personally think that that's not a good
Why?
reason, but because I wouldn't do it myself just because I don't want to. Like I personally
No, she doesn't feel like she's ready. She's financially fine. She just has a general feeling like she doesn't want to have the kid.
Yeah, I think that the result of that would be
Would you bar women who have that view from getting abortions?
no, I would. I think you should have the right to do that.
Okay, so then a rich man who can afford to pay child support, but he just doesn't want to. Should he be able to escape his duty and responsibility of having to pay child support?
If he has a genuine reason, like the woman
He
is
just
also
doesn't
rich,
want to.
then he can.
Nope, he just
if
doesn't
he
want to.
wants to go to court and
No.
debate it, then that's fine. I think.
What do you mean if you? Okay, but so you're saying if he wants to go to court and debate it, what should the court do?
The court should just make a just decision and say you have to pay child support or not.
So what should the court do in that situation? Should
This
the
is
court?
literally an imaginary court.
You
because
introduced
I'm
the
saying
imaginary
I
court.
disagree that men should have to pay child support. So what should the court do? I think you're saying how would they evaluate
No.
whether a man should or should
No.
not?
Hold on. Let's rewind. Let's rewind. You said a scenario in which it would be okay for a guy to escape his responsibility of having to pay child support would be if he doesn't have money.
That would be one example, yeah.
Right. Okay. But then I said, well, okay, let's talk about if it's a rich woman. You said that's not justification. A rich woman who just doesn't want to have a kid, that's not justification for her being allowed to have an abortion. Now we're giving the counter example of a rich man. He can pay child support. He just doesn't think it's fair and he doesn't want to.
I think he should have the right to go to a courthouse and
But what should
sue
the
I
cour-
think he has the right to sue and say I don't want to pay child support.
No, but that's not how it works. The woman, okay, here's how it would work. The woman wants child support from him. She goes to the court and says, I want child support. Are you following here?
Why would I not?
Can I say something?
Hold on. Let me try to, oh my God.
Please.
So men don't proactively go to a court and say, I don't want, that never happens.
Yeah, because it's the law, like you said. I'm saying if I made the law, because I fundamentally disagree
Okay,
that men
so
should.
what would be the law?
Okay, the law that would determine if you should or should not pay child
Yes,
support
what would be the circumstances?
is if it is not feasible for the man to pay it. If it's if the woman doesn't need it, basically, or if the man can't pay it, then you shouldn't go into debt, in my opinion.
Let's assume that the woman does need it.
Okay,
Let's assume the woman needs it and the man is rich. But he just doesn't want, he had a one-night stand with her. He had no intention of having a kid. She decided to keep the baby.
he has the, I think it
But
should-
there's now a kid that exists that conceivably it takes money to take care of a kid. She doesn't have the money.
So what's your question?
Next subject, because this will
Hold
be.
on, I feel like
going
we're
in
almost
circles.
there.
No,
I feel like we're almost
I
there.
believe.
He's trying to
We're almost
call out
there.
I believe
the
you're not.
hypocrisy
I think she has a point.
Hold on. So, what would be, you're the judge, you pass the law. Should the man have to pay child support?
If he's rich,
It should,
doesn't
so
want to.
as I've said many times, it should default to you pay child support. Otherwise, if you don't want to pay child support, I believe that you should legally be able to, as a man, sue the woman and make your case that you shouldn't have to pay child support. I think it should
Okay,
be
but-
In that
What is,
system,
what-
they would
what is
discriminate
even wrong
against
with what I'm
poor
saying?
people. Only rich men would be able to.
I think what she's
accomplish
saying that a man should also have a choice in
you guys
whether he
aren't
wants to
making a
pay,
counterpoint.
paying or
No,
not.
I think what we're getting at here is that in a world where women have the right to an abortion for any reason, men should have a corresponding right to have a legal paternal surrender where they don't have to pay child support.
Okay, I will actually say that I don't really I don't genuinely feel like men should have to like pay child support. I don't have strong feelings about that. So I'm gonna say, if that's what it takes for like abortion rights to be legal, like more like, and have a even playing field, I'm fine. Like I will agree that men don't have to pay child support.
Can I say something?
Okay, so you will acknowledge though that women are able to get abortions, but in every single state in this country, men are forced to pay child support. Do you think that that's wrong? The law as it currently is, not what should be,
yeah.
what is. You think it's wrong that men should pay child support?
Yes, and have no escape from it. Yeah, I think that's wrong.
Okay, all right.
What's like crazy about
okay,
that?
Should we like go to her
You know
for
what?
a second?
I'm okay with us moving from the topic because
I'm ready to move. We do
Okay.
have one other note. Man, I should move on. Okay, all right.
You're a comedian, right? Get me.
Ain't nothing funny about this, sweetheart.
Do we get Do we get like free tickets to your next show because you're probably gonna talk shit about this?
Oh, no.
Do we get free tickets?
No, I don't want to talk about this.
So you said
Hi.
this was a disagreement, women's rights being made up?
That was something that I saw Andrew speak on, so I don't know if.
Okay.
Do you think is he referencing the idea that women's rights are fake because they're only given by men?
Yeah,
Yes.
because of the physical thing.
Yeah.
So
Because
I don't know if,
in the world, the strongest people make all the rules, and so if the strong people make the rules that women have rights, and then they enforce them legally through violence, then the only reason women have rights is because men use violence to make sure women have rights.
yeah, so I hear that, and
But
and I disagree. What I disagree on is women make every human being. So when you eternally owe
You need sperm
homage
for that,
to your
right?
mother,
I mean,
you can't like.
We do not make children. You need sperm
But
for
if
that,
you're
right?
saying
You know that.
If you're saying
You need a
that
man.
because men can physically dominate women, that women don't naturally have rights.
men also dominate each other. We don't naturally have
A lot of
rights.
women are dominatrix as well, right? We like submissive
well,
man.
so I think that most men have love for their mothers, but I don't think that actually addresses the argument if, like, for example, let's say a group of men decided that tomorrow, and this played out recently in Afghanistan, essentially. They decide tomorrow, we don't like feminism. We don't believe that women should have rights. What would actually stop them from doing that?
Like nothing would stop them from doing it.
So you agree with Andrew then?
I don't agree that women's rights are made up.
Well,
I mean, they're not made
so
up.
they are
he doesn't
technically
even
made
believe in rights. Because if they can be taken away from you, are they actually rights? He's much better at arguing this than I am, though. I'm just kind of playing out
The idea isn't that like it's some smarmy like, ooh, women wouldn't have anything if it wasn't for men because our society is a collaboration and women are an inseparable part of that. Like you're so important. Literally, what's the point of life if there are no women? For me, I don't know. But like the idea is that you have rights in a Western society because Western men with rifles make sure you do. If we go to Saudi Arabia and we want women to have rights, who do we ask to give those rights to women?
Thank you, Mins.
Yeah, you have to ask the men to give them the rights. If we go to Afghanistan and we say, Taliban, please can women start going to school? Who are the people that are going to make sure women get to go to school?
The government, which is mostly made up of men.
There you go. And governments only exist because rough men with rifles decide they do.
There can be, women-led societies. It's possible.
There's
it's not what it is.
never been a
I would
majority
love
in
to.
the-
I mean,
Never,
women can
never.
lead societies, but even the women who are the most powerful are incredibly rough and warlike, like Margaret Thatcher.
Sure.
One of the most famous female politicians of all time. She, was the Prime Minister of England? Didn't she attack a South American country?
Argentina.
That's
The
right.
Falklands.
Like full on. Like,
Falklands.
so anyway,
Falklands.
all of our rights, mine too. I only get my rights because someone with a rifle told someone else, I will kill you if you don't let this guy drive a car.
And that's my point. When it comes to the point, we need a man
But
to
you're-
protect us, right?
You guys are saying lies because like in China, the only woman empire, that was the most prosperous dynasty among like many dynasties. So it's like
But the
Wait. But who enforced her laws and rules?
she did.
Yeah, and who executed
strong
her laws?
military.
The men.
her queen's guard was a bunch of women, or was
They
it
were
men
men.
protecting her?
Men are doing some hard labor, sure. They're
But
going
the
there
men
to
got out
soldiers,
on the
but there's a
street
lot of-
forcing her laws, right? If people do not obeying her laws, who fixed that for
Yeah,
her?
I think men should be in the
fixed it
military.
for her.
They're the little soldiers. Yeah, they're like.
The men fixed it for her.
But she only has
Oh
the
my
power
God.
because
The
men
men-
back her.
That's because at that dynasty you have to, but that's the same with
And you
everything.
still
I don't know
need
about
men.
the dynasty.
You
I
still
don't
need
know about the
men.
dynasty. Okay.
But
So
who?
what? It doesn't matter? Like, that's world history. That's
Okay, she
you try to
had
make
It's
so many
history that the men did
it
that
was
for her.
Okay, she probably had to. She would always have to appeal to men to enforce. Men are the enforcement arm of society and government.
That's only because men were enforcing at the beginning. So.
Men are
okay.
still the enforcement arm of society.
It's about power.
It's
Right?
about physical strength. That's
Which,
how it works.
okay,
It's
so,
not
yes.
hold on, quick question.
Why-
Going around the table. Who's physically stronger, men or women?
I think on average, men, yeah.
Men.
Men,
That
obviously.
has nothing to do with anything.
I don't
though.
think anybody
Yeah.
disagrees with that.
I
And
know. What's
a single person
get
sitting
out
at
of
this
me.
table is
I
gonna try and make a
think-
case for
no.
women
But so
being
you
biologically-
brought up the disagreement. You said women's rights being made up. So I think Andrew actually says that all rights are made up.
Yeah, I mean, he's right. It's just like, I don't even know, like, if he's not, like, making a jab at, like, specifically women's rights and women, like, thinking they should have rights. Like, if it's not that,
That's not what
I have
he-
no
that's not
idea
what
what
he's-
he's
that's
saying.
not
It's
his
absolutely not a jab at women. It just seems like it is because it's an icky thing to think about. The idea is that if women want rights and women resent men, but women only have rights because of men. So your fallacy when you're like, I hate men, it's like, well, you only get to hate men because we let you. And it's not like a we thing. I obviously don't enforce any of this. And
Amen.
most men aren't thinking about it in those ways. But the people who enforce the laws use violence. And violence is the tool of the government, and men use it.
It's the same with the war, right? The men should go to war because
Yeah.
they are men.
Yeah,
but
I-
we want to have rights, and who executes the right? Men. So we should be thanking on our knees. Thank you, man. Thank you.
You are
I don't
indeed
know
a
about that.
comedian. I can
Bow
tell
to
you.
very
your
nice of you.
husband.
Next thing, you said men's body count and women's body count don't have different value. Otherwise, that's a double standard.
Yeah.
Do you want to elaborate a
Oh,
little more?
sure.
Or?
So I think if a man has a body count of 50, it's not morally better than if a woman has a body count of 50.
It's not morally better.
So you're saying
Okay.
society doesn't judge a man the same way that they would a woman?
No, I'm saying like, I don't know if like you actually disagree with this. But
In terms of
Yeah.
morality, I would say yes, it's equally immoral.
Yeah.
yeah, that's what I would say too.
It's
but-
immoral, but the consequences of a man sleeping with a lot of women is different from a woman sleeping with a lot of men, because if she prefers men and wants to date them, then men on average have certain preferences on how they would like their women to have behaved in the past, so they can make educated decisions on if they want to be with them or not. It's that, like, what's that thing everyone says is sexist? If you're going to hire someone for a job, do you want someone who's had 200 jobs for 1 month each, or a person who had 2 jobs for 5 years each?
Right.
I will look at their talent and how they answer the question
Into
instead
the
of
mic.
their previous work experience.
Well, so
I would look at their actual talent and how they answer the interview question instead of look at how many jobs they had in the past. Like,
Well,
you're
So
interviewing
if a
people.
woman fucks 500 men, she is a better talent at making children.
Huh? I'm not talking about that. Like, it's
don't-
not related.
I don't know what just happened.
I think it's a question of
So-
loyalty, right?
But I don't really think that this conversation really has so much to do about morals, really. I think it has to do with kind of more the dating dynamics here.
Yeah.
So I think maybe more so what you're getting at is, well, it's impressive if a man sleeps with a lot of women, but women are shamed if they sleep with a lot of men. Is that kind of your angle here?
Well, I think that's true.
Yeah. I mean, maybe, but that's because if you prefer men on average prefer women who have not behaved in that way, because that's just a preference most men have, the same way women have a preference for taller men.
Yeah.
It's like an innate thing that just is like something you're attracted to, or a red flag you naturally look out for.
Yeah, I actually don't I actually don't believe that your body count, like, it's good to have like a body count of like 100. I just think that like men and women should be equally judged. Like, I don't think it's different between men and women. and
I
that's-
disagree with you there.
Okay.
I kind of disagree. Well, I mean, look, I don't think promiscuity in men is a good thing, but it's definitely different. And it's actually the way women will select men is way different here. So, like, it's not clear to me, for example, if, like, a really successful guy, if a girl knows, like, high status, could be a celebrity, athlete, rapper, whatever, a girl will even know that he's a fucking slut and still want him. But if a guy knows that the chick's a slut, men are more likely to have a disgust response by that.
Yeah, I think men have a different, like, kind of like maybe biological even like response to.
Yeah.
Yes, I agree.
I also think
agree.
that I think most women do excuse a high body count. Most of you simply don't care, and so it's incredibly frustrating when you give men grace, and you're like, well, I like you anyway, and he's like, oh, well, this really bothers me. But it's not a conscious decision. Very few men are like, I'm going to choose specifically to dislike women who have been with lots of men, because
do
how
that.
many? Well, maybe yeah. I don't. It's just an innate thing in me where I feel grossed out by it, and I can't really explain it. I don't know, and maybe it's bad, and I should whatever. It doesn't. Listen. A woman who has a high body count can be an excellent partner. It could not affect her worth in the totality of her life. People can change. People can be redeemed. I believe this wholeheartedly. But also, if you're a man and you can be with a woman who hasn't been with 50 people or slept with some of your friends, or you can be with someone who's only been with a couple people, of course you're going to choose the other person.
Sure, I have no objection to like men having those preferences. I just think like if you're gonna talk about it morally, that's when I think it should be talking like.
I would agree with you, but I don't think most people are talking about it morally because most people are totally okay with hookup culture. So I would talk about it morally because I'm religious, but I don't think Brian would talk about it morally. I think Brian's worried about the specific things that are innate in a woman who would sleep with lots of people, or the character traits, or maybe, it's embarrassing, it's humiliating, it's scary because she might have problems, she might cheat on you. There's a bunch of reasons you wouldn't want to. She might sleep with people now you have to see them all the time. You don't want to have a baby with someone it's hard, as a guy, that's a frustration.
I think it's a little bit of an insecurity thing, I'm not gonna lie. I think that personally, I like men that have a high body count. I do not, they're experienced, I do not care. And honestly, I like that. And so to me, a lot of the time I feel like men, when they say I think it's because they are fear that, oh, this girl's been with, maybe she's been with one guy. Okay, so I'm more likely to be the best she's had. She's not experienced, she does not know anything different. So if they could be subpar and seem like the best thing ever because they are the best thing they've experienced. And I think a lot of the time, men sometimes they don't like the women with the high body counts because they feel inadequate.
Yeah, sure. If something someone did made you feel inadequate naturally, then you wouldn't want to be with them.
Yes, but I think that men need to work on their own insecurities
Or women should just not be sluts.
I do content creation,
That's
and I'm
very objectifying terms.
I'm a very loyal
why is that-
person.
why is
That
that
has a
objective?
negative connotation.
Yeah, it's a bad thing to fuck
Yeah.
100 men.
I'm a ride or
Sorry.
die girl.
Oh, is that?
Even
I'm
though
sorry.
That's
I'm not
offensive. You
believe-
cannot say that.
I can't. No, you go, girl. You go fuck 100
No,
men.
I'm not.
kidding, I
I
was
don't encourage
kidding.
women. Actually, I
Yes, you
advise
do.
against.
You literally
No.
do.
Listen, you can call me a
I
slut, but I'm gonna
encourage
call you
people
insecure,
to.
baby.
I encourage people to date, but I don't encourage people to have sex very quickly. That's my proposal. That's from my experience. Like I said, I have negative experience to going into things too fast. So I'm always advocating women less physical sex.
Wouldn't it be
But-
more? Wouldn't
Just
it?
grabbing
more-
dick.
Yeah, more like other physical stuff, right?
Yeah,
You can
just
get blowjobs.
measuring his
Okay,
dick
yes.
with his pants on. That's
Fine.
normal.
You don't fuck the guy, but you
Yeah,
give 100 men
that's
DJs.
normal.
That's still
But why
promiscuity.
do you have to be
It's
like
still
100 men?
promiscuity.
You should just let women explore to the extent they want. No,
Yeah, when
why are you
women say
governing
explore,
their actions?
when women say explore and find themselves and go on journeys and adventures,
Yeah.
it literally translates to get run through by a bunch of dudes.
Why do you say that?
That's
Because when I
literally
go
what that
travel,
means.
when I go do things, all the things you listed has nothing to do with men. All the activity I do, 90% of them have
You
nothing
literally
to do with
said
men.
explore in the dating context.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, cool. Go fucking to fucking Paraguay. Don't give a
And
fuck.
I didn't say it has to be blowjob. You can I have so many times I dated men for 3 months.
Explore.
Nothing to do with men. Because
That's
when I
literally
go
what
travel,
that
we're
means.
governing
Explore.
their actions.
When women say explore and find themselves and go on journeys and adventures,
Yeah.
it literally translates to get run through by a bunch of dudes.
Why do you say that?
That's
Because when I
literally
go
what that
travel,
means.
when I go do things, all the things you listed has nothing to do with men. All the activity I do, 90% of them have
You
nothing
literally
to do with
said
men.
explore in a dating context.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, cool. Go fucking to fucking Paraguay. Don't give a
And
fuck.
I didn't say it has to be blowjob. You can I have so many times I dated men for 3 months. I didn't have anything with them. We had kids. I made out. So what?
And you grabbed their
just
dick,
because that's not
you know?
your reality. What's your
I
obsession
think
with
It's
it?
total
I think it's so hilarious.
It's
because
total
Okay,
cope.
It
Total
is, it's
cope.
funny.
So okay, it's insecure if a man doesn't want to date a girl with a high body count.
Yes, I mean, I think that it makes them feel less special because it's she's been with more people.
What's
Yeah,
wrong with that?
Yeah, what is
I
actually
mean,
wrong?
I mean, it's if that's in the past though, you know what I mean? If they're
Okay.
just with you and they're committing to you, then that's all that should matter.
I just don't understand.
So then you're not the person. I'm so sorry to cut you off. I didn't mean to do that. That's rude. But if you're saying that you're changed, then
I'm not changed. The thing is, I'm not interested in that. I mean, maybe if I'm committing to somebody that also does content, then it's different for me because I could also still do that. But if I'm dating somebody that is a normal person and I'm stopping, it's I'm not a cheater. Just because I have a lot of partners does not mean I'm a cheater, and I'm a very loyal person. I'm a ride or die girl.
They've literally done studies the.
Okay, well that does not apply to me, and it does not
okay.
apply to everyone.
well, but it might not apply to everyone. But it's still a factor that factors in.
Well, I think the reason, like I said, it makes them feel a lot special. I think that's a little bit you need to look inside yourself.
Also, there's a whole bunch of negative ramifications. There's the increased risk of STDs. There's
I
the
get tested every 2 weeks, baby.
yeah,
That's
cool.
good.
They
That's
don't
very
test for
smart.
herpes in the porn industry.
Yeah, but
No, they don't.
most people have it.
No, most people don't. Well,
Most people in the
don't
porn
have
industry
gen-
do have
okay,
it. That's
there-
real.
there's
A lot of people
there's
that-
there's
you
two
could be born
types of
with it,
herpes. There's like genital herpes, and then there's the cold sores on your lips. Those are different.
Yes.
Yeah.
And-
Most people, I don't want to have genital herpes. Sorry.
But if you are in the porn industry, just like me, so I can talk about it, and you're very loyal and
Giovanni J.
you're ride or
donated
die, right?
$200. Exclusivity is inherently valuable. If 10 people got first place at the Olympics, it would be less prestigious. This is inherent. No different when it comes to who you let in you or put yourself in.
I'm not dating everyone I've ever had sex with.
True.
So it's
Okay.
kind of different.
But
Your quick thing?
yeah, because we work in the porn industry, you say, I'm a ride or die, I'm very loyal. You have like one person in your mind, obviously, and that's a good thing. But if you're going to have like sex with another man, isn't that still cheating, even if it's work or not?
Well, if it's consensual, then it's not. Like, people have polyamorous relationships. That's
Like
not
an
cheating.
open relationship
Yeah,
then.
we're open
So will you
relationships.
tell your guy, like, I would like an open relationship because of my work? Or how would you go with it? Because I'm curious for myself in the future. I don't know how to go about it.
If I was to date somebody that does not do the content, probably the only way it would work is if I was to stop it and just film with them, because I don't think it's safe for them to continuously, because it would be fair for them to be able to go do stuff with other people.
But will you
that's not
stop
safe.
making content with men if the other man doesn't want you to, and he doesn't want to make content with you as well?
No, I
he will
would
say, do yourself, do your own thing on the movies, that's fine. But he finds it cheating if you do that with another man. Would you like do that?
Well, with another man, if I would
No
stop.
videos at all with another man, and
Yeah, I
not
would
with
stop.
him as
I'm
well.
sorry, I have to move it on. I do
That's
have to
okay.
move it on.
That's very interesting.
I do think, though, I mean, so you're saying body count doesn't matter, men are insecure for it. If body count doesn't matter, what's your body count?
I don't exactly know the exact number. So probably I think 30-ish, which is very low for somebody that does porn. Considering 4 of those are from this week.
You think it's 30?
It's around there, I think.
Between 30 to 40?
Sure.
Okay. Isis, what about you? You seem to agree with her that body count doesn't matter? What's your body count?
I don't want to answer that.
How about you give us a range? How about that? Instead of an actual number.
Less than 10.
Oh.
You're a fucking liar! You're a fucking liar!
Okay, go find every single guy I told in my story ever. I can tell you at which stage we dated till. And just because in your mind you think I can't, you have that perception. You just you're thinking I'm a liar. That's exactly what I'm saying. You don't believe when women tell you the truth because you can't understand there's a different perspective.
You said your main priority is getting followers and orgasms.
Yes.
And you believe in rotational dating. You've had you've had rosters of men.
That doesn't mean that's what I'm currently believing in, right? I'm saying currently I only care about followers and orgasms. So I'm not really thinking about rotation, no guy. I'm thinking about going on dates that can find a husband as well as creating
There's
content.
no way to verify what the truth is, but
Yeah, because you will always believe what you want to believe. So
yeah, I just think there's enough conduct on your socials and your own
yeah, that's
admissions.
your judgment because plenty of people don't think the way that you do.
What do you want people to think
I don't
about
care.
your content?
I don't care what people think about my content. My goal has always been not to influence, but be authentically myself.
Just to be clear, she grabs dudes' cocks within minutes of meeting them, but she claims to have a low body count. It doesn't really add up, you know?
A lot of things don't add up because a person is very complex. Just because you're simple doesn't mean other people are simple, so don't project on me, okay?
You get mad at me when I say grabbing dicks, but not at him. Why? Jesus.
Oh my God, are you 12?
I just don't understand what the point of your. So you make content, you don't care about how people perceive it.
No, I don't,
You have no
because I want
stated
to-
goal when you post it. You don't have a way you want people to feel or think.
I want
or-
people to feel
What do you want them to feel?
authenticity, truth, my experience, my opinion.
And your authentic truth is catcalling men and grabbing their
Well,
tits.
that was the story. That was the thing that happened. I told the story online. And you put an subjective emotion on it. I only told you what happened. So I don't understand why.
Is every story you tell on your TikTok, is that the truth?
I'm
Or
not going
did
to tell you
make-
that. You don't deserve for me to tell you that.
No, but I think if you're making...
It's all true. It's about being authentic.
No. Just stop. Wait. But I think some people just tell stories just because they are writing books and stuff. Maybe you are making a beautiful story because you're going to write a book because you want to get famous, right? I didn't attack you or anything. So it's like every story you tell on
All
the
right.
internet, the truth.
Body count?
It's a single digit.
Less than 10.
3. Less than 10.
Into the mic.
Less than 10.
11.
Oh, yeah, Shane,
I
go
won't.
ahead.
I won't be saying
Okay.
at all.
Oh, come on, you have to give us a range
Listen,
as well.
full disclosure, I spent most of my life being incredibly
Framework
promiscuous.
Engineer donated $200. You get judged by society because you live with society. If your partner loved to shit on the floor, but they always cleaned it up after, would you not judge them? Gross is gross.
Gives me
Hash
the
gives
ick.
me the ick.
Ick. Thank you, Framework Engineer. Appreciate the TTS. Thank you.
Anyway, I was way into trying to be sex positive and all this other stuff
Can you
when
give
I
us
was
a
younger,
range?
and it was destroying my life. And over time, I became a different person, and now I deeply want to be that different person. It's difficult. I don't make the mark all the time, but yeah, again, earlier I said your body count doesn't affect your worth, but it does affect how people want to date you, and that's
Yeah.
fair. So anyway, high body count. Sorry, everybody, not going to talk
Oh,
about
you're
it.
That's
slut.
fine.
Oh
Like,
my
that's
God.
fine. It's in the past.
No, I am ashamed though.
No, you don't.
No, it's bad.
What about you?
No, it's okay.
One.
One.
That's
Okay.
great.
Let's go, dog.
That's great, actually. Yeah, that's
yeah,
great.
big dog.
Raise the roof. Okay. All right. The roof is on fire. Okay. I do think one difference, to Shane's point that he made earlier, I think a lot of women don't really care. Like some women might have a preference for lack of promiscuity or low body count in men, but I think most women like don't really care when it comes to
I
like
like
males.
it.
Right, but so there's asymmetry in what men and women like. Men tend to prefer women with a low body count, and I would honestly question like if a dude looked at his girl and she like had a low body count, he's like, man, I don't think any guy, absent cucks, have ever thought this. I really wish she had slept with more men before she met me. Thought no dude ever.
Yeah, that's kind of
Yeah, there's
weird.
this perception.
think that
There's this
either.
perception that men want like porn star crazy sex and stuff, and it's like a man just wants someone who makes him feel safe. That's the reality of the situation.
It's their
And
girl.
feeling safe correlates to low body count.
Well, that's because you're insecure.
Oh my goodness.
I agree.
Insecure.
You know,
Wait, it's
next
so funny,
topic,
though.
next topic.
It's so funny
Let's
though.
skip it.
I mean, like
We're just gonna talk in circles.
on this.
Yeah, that's why next topic.
Sex is not this complicated procedure. And this is actually another differential between men and women because men typically tend to lead in the bedroom. So as a guy, if you're experienced and you know what you're
That's
doing.
what we like. We like to be
Right, but if you're a guy,
dominated
sure.
a little.
If you're a guy and you know what you're doing, you can have amazing sex with a sexually inexperienced woman. It's not so clear to me if the opposite is always going to be true. Also, I would say like most men, I don't think would have any problem like if a woman's sexually inexperienced, like guiding her or like kind of leading her in the bedroom. I think a lot of women would be turned off by like having to teach a guy how to fuck her.
True.
So
I mean, yeah, women are having the worst sex ever statistically, right?
Yeah.
They're not finishing, they're miserable, they're feeling awful, they dislike it, and it's because they don't want to coach men.
No, but also, again, a lot of pressure on the man again, right? Because he cannot confess. He has to do this, he has to do that, he has to lead us to the bedroom, he has to be the man again. That's a lot of pressure,
Sure.
again, for the man.
okay.
Can I just say something?
Go ahead.
Yeah.
I think that like a lot of issues, like something that's been brought up here is like women's declining mental health, like at a faster rate than men, and that's something that Andrew said. Sorry, but I think like fertility as well has been on the decline, and I think it's not necessarily because I think like the mental health is largely because of like
Thank you, Natalia.
pesticides in the water and
Sure. Okay.
I think it's not feminism because that's what
I think a
Andrew
lot of,
said.
I think that birth control has to do with a lot of it.
Sure.
Yeah, a lot
Yeah,
of
yeah.
overtaking of hormones.
Hormonal
and-
birth control
yes.
is just incredibly bad for women.
damaging a woman, yes.
Okay, so I'm going to try to blast through the notes. There's a lot. I'll try to be quick. Let's see. Dominica. Let's see. Isis, did you say you were like kind of against marriage?
No.
Oh,
I said that
I'm
it's
trying to
like
remember the
it's
notes.
most likely that marriage doesn't work, but I still want marriage.
and you said like monogamy isn't the natural order of
Yeah,
things.
it's hard.
You got to just come to the table for me.
It's sorry.
Just come to the
Because
table.
it's hard to scoot in.
Yeah.
Because it's really hard.
So I mean, Dominica, you got married to your high school sweetheart. You got married at 21. Do you feel like a lot of women judge you for getting married so young?
Oh, for sure. Always.
Family too.
Yeah. But there's also people judging us for like not,
Spinster.
not marrying, marrying
That's true. It goes
old
both ways.
or not want to get married sometimes
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
not want to have kids.
Dominica, in your pre-show notes, you said porn turns you into a serial killer. You wanted to talk about abortion, religion, conservatism, acceptance, liberal activism in schools, spirituality. Can't talk about that one. Can't talk about that one. Not all men suck. Christianity, acceptance. What makes you liberal, Republican? What's freedom of speech? So why don't we talk about porn turns you into a serial killer?
Oh my God.
ahead, take it away.
Talk about it.
Okay.
Would love
I
it.
remember I was listening actually to this, I guess, podcast, you could say. And I don't remember the guy's name. He's like the most well-known serial killer. His name starts with a T. I'm blanking.
Ted Bundy.
Bundy.
Yes.
From Utah, Salt Lake
Yes.
City represent.
Yes, that guy. He's actually a member of the
That's
church.
horrible to say.
I don't know. I'm
That's
sorry,
dark.
everybody.
That's hilarious. You're a comedian. Dark
Hey, I'm a
jokes.
porn star. Talk to
May
me.
I ask, are you, what kind of Christian are you? Are you Mormon?
Yeah, that's what I am.
Okay.
Nice.
What does that mean, Mormon? What's
Oh, I love the ballerina farm. I really love them.
You love the what?
The ballerina farm. Their Mormon family.
Oh, I never looked
the
into it,
Tradway
sorry.
girl
I said that you were
on-
trying
yeah.
to say.
What is a Mormon? Can somebody explain
okay,
it to me?
I'll get to that in a second. But basically, so I was listening to like this podcast thing, and there was like this study done with these serial killers, and not most of all of them, but a good amount of them said that their leading thing was porn. So they started there, they started consuming it, and they just wanted more and more and more of it. And so the screen wasn't enough, and so they needed more kinky. Kinky wasn't enough, they needed something darker. And so I just think that's kind of crazy to me to hear that, because that's just like,
I can answer that, I think, because I'm a porn star. A lot of kinks come around because it's like a trigger. If you have a
Yes,
long-term
exactly.
partner, like my ex-partner, he has a lot of violently triggers as well. We used knives, tidying up, everything. And I just got into a relationship with him in the first week. He was like, I'm gonna fucking knife you up.
See, literally.
But it was never, it sounds crazy, I know, but it's like a trigger. And it's like, it's never enough. If you do not get that trigger, you will look for the trigger again and look for it.
Listen.
And that's why it's dangerous.
If you want-
Sorry, can we
Get
talk
porn-
science here? I'm really glad you brought up Ted Bundy, because I watched so many documentaries on him, podcasts and movie interpretations. You know, during the trial, people thought that he was looking at the porn magazine with rape that belonged to his grandfather, and people had misconception he grew up in a nice home, and people assumed that, you know, the lawyer argued, yes, the porn, and Ted Bundy also said that himself. That might be the reason why he, you know, did all those things to women. However, I watched this documentary. Dr. Lewis, it's on HBO. Dr. Lewis actually did experiments with all the death row inmates in the maximum security prison. And what they have found in common is there's similar dark spots in their MRI in their frontal lobe. So there's actually physical damage to their brain. That's what made them think crazy things. So the things I say, they may say, oh, porn made me this way. They couldn't even think clearly. They're brain damaged. And yeah, so it's like you don't know what is the reason for that.
I think what she is meaning at the trigger points with some people that you get from watching porn, it's like never enough. That's why you have so many kinks, so many more kinks joining. I'm a porn star, she's a porn star, we know about the kinks, and it's like
Is porn
going
not-
more.
It's getting progressively more violent over time.
Yes,
Like literally
obviously.
every kid who is exposed to porn is
Exactly.
almost
We are in the
instantaneously
industry, we see
exposed
that.
to women
Yeah.
being choked, hit, spit
Yeah.
on.
I think I also don't like porn. I don't want men to watch porn, honestly, but I just want to disagree with the killer thing, because I feel like... And also there's one thing that Dr. Lewis also said that's really interesting. Actually, he was aborted. So basically his mom actually physically tried to abort him. That's why, but then it was unsuccessful. So he had brain damage from that, and that's one suspicion that his frontal lobe isn't
And that's
lining
why
up.
you shouldn't be aborting children.
That's why you should successfully abort children. You know, even if the law bans it, even if the law bans it, there's gonna be women, because they get pregnant unexpectedly, they would do it themselves at home.
Right, and
that
they
causes a
harm
lot of danger. So yeah, I'm for abortion. Do it correctly. Don't do
scream.
half-ass job.
Don't scream.
I'm sorry.
The dating app segment.
All right, so we're going to review some of the girls' dating app profiles, starting off with...
Hi, it's me.
What app is this? Oh,
This is Seeking Arrangement. It's like a sugar daddy site.
Are there prompts to it also?
No, not really. Not a lot.
Yeah.
Can you read the top one there?
Okay, I do not do free dates or free get to know.
What does that mean?
What does that mean?
I have to tell a little content about it because you just asked for a dating site. It's the one I have. When I was underage, I don't know if I can say that, I went on a sugar daddy site because we didn't have money. And I was very hungry. And I saw about it on social media. And I was like, yeah, let's go on a paid date and get some food on the table. Sounds horrible, but that's just the way I did it. I'm not very active on the site anymore. I just have it because my social media grow, my media
How much is
presence.
a date?
In the Netherlands, people would just pay like 200 euros, but I never agreed with that. I would say like 750 euros and above only to have dinner with me.
What's the amount of money like the average guy makes an hour in the Netherlands?
If you work like a full-time job, like 40 hours a week,
Yeah.
in a month you will get like 750 to 200, 2,500, 2,500 euros.
Is that
So
the
it's
only
not
thing
a
we
lot.
had to read?
It's not a lot.
Next, we have Lucy. Should we have her read this? Or
Giving
Didn't-
travel tips for Siberian wilderness retreat. Obviously a joke.
I was gonna say the Trans-Siberian Railway rocks.
I would be interested though,
Would
actually,
you
to
swipe
go to
on
Russia.
Lucy, living
Yes.
unusual skills, living in the woods?
would you guys
That's
swipe
true.
on Lucy?
Bisexual queen.
Now we have Evan.
Oh yeah, that's my friend.
Okay.
Gorgeous friend though.
And we're being baddies in Vegas. I said, hope you like spicy brunettes, LOL. I have an unconventional job. You'll either love it or hate it. And so,
At least you're upfront.
I don't want to say that because if you say that you do any kind of SW, they ban you. So you have to
True.
like, but I obviously like, I'm not like I don't want to like lie to them. I don't even want to talk to somebody that's not interested in that.
So if you're on
Picture,
like
though.
dating apps, you are like willing to date civilians, right?
Yeah.
But you would obviously disclose your job
Yes.
right away. Okay.
Wait, a non-negotiable, something casual.
Yeah, I don't do hookups.
You don't have brown hair either.
Oh, well, whatever.
I'm just saying.
It maybe it's been a little while since I updated it.
I'm gonna have to weigh in on that one when I come back. Okay.
Good
Yeah.
pictures though.
This one.
Thank you.
Okay, wait.
Go to dreamlabs.com.
Hold on, I'll come back. I'll look that.
Is there any more?
I don't really use dating apps though. I just have it.
Just
All right, guys. Would you guys swipe right or left? What's
For who?
What's yes or no?
I don't even
me,
know.
all of them.
I've
For
never
which
had-
woman? For which woman? What do you-
Oh.
Jesus.
You're not really wait, what's your name?
Tamara.
Tamara, you're not really my type. I like more like you giving bisexual queen
Wait.
right here. That's all right.
I would swipe for you, but not for you. You look like you would kill me.
Do I?
I don't know. You would look like you would just stab me in my sleep. I don't know. You're scary a little
You
bit.
look too straight for me.
But
I am straight. I'm pretty not straight.
Yeah, it's
I'm a
not the
Christian.
first time I've heard that. Not
we
gonna
talk
lie.
about
I
this
do have a
already?
pretty nasty
You said you
IBS.
wouldn't like you wouldn't wait for sex though.
No, I would. If it's like somebody normal. I mean, honestly, like if I meet somebody.
Okay,
so,
you meet a guy on Bumble,
Oh no, I would. Yeah, I wouldn't. But if, obviously,
you
if
wouldn't
I,
what?
I wouldn't do that on the first date.
Second date?
Sure.
Oh,
if I
okay.
if I get to know them, and I feel
Yeah.
like it could maybe go somewhere. Sure.
Okay.
I don't want to just get used though. I'm not really down with it. I don't
Okay.
really get anything out of casual sex.
Okay, but you're not like, hey, I want to wait 10 dates.
No.
Okay, all right. I don't really have an argument
I
there
can
then.
sense it out.
I would have an argument if you're like, well, yeah, I want to wait 10 dates, but like
No.
you also do porn. I feel like that would be
Well,
kind of
it's-
arbitrary.
Like I'm interested in dating like people who also do content, but the thing is, it is kind of weird because your first interaction a lot of the time when you meet is like you're filming with them. So, but like you can still get a sense of their personality and if you vibe with each other.
All right. And then tomorrow I have you do. I saw something $1,500 meet and greet.
What?
So like if a guy asks you when can we meet, you'll say $1,500.
Oh, you mean the quote I reposted on my Instagram?
Yeah, I read that. Yeah.
It's not written by me, it's just a quote. I thought it was funny.
Oh, okay.
But if anybody wants to, I'm the Dutch Jessica Rabbit on Instagram. Hit me up, I'm here. No, no, kidding. But it's, you know what? When I didn't have money, I was hungry, I did that. But I never really had sex with one of my dads. Just at one time, there was this lonely man, wanted to have dinner. And I'm always a little bit scared of men as well. I don't know. I'm in the
Okay.
porn industry,
You
but I'm
said-
also a little bit scared of men. I don't know why.
You said you do not really date. You also never had a one-night stand or anything.
No,
Never had a one-night stand?
never. And that's maybe I get her point a little bit. You make an assumption because of the job and everything.
Yeah.
But maybe I got into porn a little bit because I have a little bit of sexual problems myself. You hear that a lot, right? People getting in the industry because sometimes,
Almost
no offense,
exclusively.
they get
Mental illness.
exalted and they want to feel their power back, so they get in the industry and like explode. Not to harm you with your assault or anything. I didn't mean that.
No, it's fine.
But like my, how do you take that?
It's mental illness.
When somebody takes your virginity, how do you call that here?
Just take
I
my
don't
virginity.
just
This is
taking
what
your
it's called.
virginity. I
Yeah.
don't think there's a specific term for it.
It was a very funny way of doing that, and every time I had some comments when he did that, he was like, "Oh, you're too wet. You have to go to the toilet." So I went to the toilet every time. Then I had
Wait,
the
you're
next.
too what?
You know, all right,
said
I will
you're too
explain
wet.
to it. When I got my virginity taken away from me, I left at that guy and he walked away. That was the first experience. Then I had the second guy, and I was like, okay, now I'm really ready. Like, yeah, let's go.
Okay.
And you get wet down there. And
Yeah.
I was quite
Is
older
there-
when I got my
I don't think
virginity.
there's such thing, at least on the guy.
Yeah, but for-
like, you're too wet.
I didn't know.
That's good.
Yeah, that would be
That's a good thing.
I
No.
think there's not enough friction sometimes. Like it's just too feels like nothing. It's just
Yeah, but now I know that. But I was
I
like
guess.
18, 19 years old. I was a little bit older when they took my virginity for the rest.
Okay.
But he also said, "Oh, you have to go to the toilet. You have to wipe it away before we do sex. So before you get to bed with him, you would just think, oh gosh, I need to wipe it away. And you go to think. Normally when you have sex with somebody, your brain goes off. You go into that tunnel vision. Oh my God, I love you so much. Let's do this.
It was an
And then I had the
interruption.
next guy, and that was something else. He was like, oh, your nipple gets too hard. Oh, do not talk, do not speak. Oh, your eyes are rolling back a little bit. So every time, no, but you get to think. So I never had an orgasm. I never had anything like that. So then I got like a normal relationship. He didn't care. He was like, well, let's fuck. I love you. I don't care what you do. But then you think too much because you think, oh my God, I need to go to the toilet. I need to do everything. So I didn't feel one with my own.
I've never asked a girl to like, you're too wet.
That's
go
so
away.
crazy. If you're dating
odd.
someone and you're
That's
going to be
odd.
intimate
That's
with
a-
them and you're
no,
in your
actually,
head, stop
that
doing
is
what
why
you're doing.
I never have a one night stand. I've never been on real Tinder. I just started Tinder this year. Maybe I'm a little bit not scared. It's not a good word. It's not like I'm scared of men, but I'm just scared sometimes. Like, what if I do anything wrong? And if I make my own movies, I'm like in control. I do not have an orgasm at all when I make my own movies. I'm still like, if I have an orgasm, I lose control. That's like a normal thing, right? You lose, you shut your brain up. But I get scared because everything in my mind is going like, oh my God, what if I make a sound? What if my eyes turning? What if I just get this real scary feeling and I just need a man to be like, I'm gonna push you through it. I'm gonna hold you down. And just like, maybe like raping is not a good word, but be dominant about it so I get over that feeling. And that's hard to explain to a
I
man.
do gotta
I really
I'm
get
gonna
that.
read a chat here.
I do not feel one with my.
okay.
I don't know if I have a man who's like,
I'm sorry, I have to read this. A guy bangs a chick, has entered a contract to possibly pay for the child. He's equally liable for the kid. And yes, a woman can get an abortion for any reason, and a guy has no say. Period. Her choice.
All right.
Wait, so are you like saying that's how it is, or that is how it is? But are you saying like that's how that's good?
Is
like,
that a statement of support? I can't tell.
Yeah, that's a good framing on that.
How about we not start this again?
Yeah, never.
Well, it came in like took me a while.
Truly,
to
though.
So either way, to get back, I had my last ex and he was very dominant and I didn't want to hurt his feelings. And I said, oh my God, I had my first orgasm, but I did not because I was still in my mind like, oh my God, what if I do anything wrong? So for me, making the content and the videos was getting a little bit control back in my mind and my body.
Yeah.
Very wrong way maybe, but it's my way. And that's why I do not make movies with people because I'm like, scared.
I just
Now-
want to say I'm so sorry for your
Oh,
experience.
I'm not, and I'm okay with it. It was quite funny.
Thank
I
you
laugh
for
about it.
sharing this. Yeah.
I do not feel I do not need therapy or
So
anything.
you said, what can we do as women to stop men from getting in their woman era?
What?
These are your notes. What can we do as women to stop men getting in their women era?
Yes, that's maybe a Netherlands thing. I don't know how it is here.
Like the sassy man apocalypse.
Is that what you call it? A lot of men are wearing like makeup, doing their nails, and it's not. I do not care if a man wants to take care of himself, look good, smell good. I don't know anything, but I think as a man they still want a woman, and as a woman we still, in the back of our minds, want a man that we can run to for safety and all the discussion we had. And a lot of men are in their feminine era. How can I find a manly man if every man I meet is like, oh my God, girl, how are you? I'm like, dude. And he's like a very bodybuilder man. I'm like, oh my God, this is the man, he's tattooed, he's everything. And he's like, girl, how are you? Let's go to the nail salon together. I'm like, dude.
Yeah, it's like the main equinox. They're all like kind of like
And
that.
I do not really like that. It's nothing, I do not have anything against being gay or anything, but it's like, I want a man. Where do I find in this age? Where do I find a
probably
man?
correlate to your lifestyle and the people you spend time with and the places you go.
No, I'm an introvert. I'm always at home. I do not go out. I do not go to festivals. I do not. I'm at home eating pickles with my
Are
dog
the
on the
effeminate
side.
men showing up to eat pickles with you? How are you meeting them?
No, I never meet. I just probably need a man just to be on the doorstep with a box of pickles. I don't know. But I don't. Every time I meet a man, that's why I'm first on Tinder for this year. It's very scary for me as well. I meet a man, I'm meeting them or seeing them walking in the supermarket. I'm like, are you really like straight or are you gay? And then they are straight but dressing so gay, and I'm like, okay, there's nothing wrong with it, but I want a man. I want a man with hair on his legs and would fight that bear for me in the forest.
This is a common problem modern women are having, where everyone's like, oh, I really like this, and then they get older, and then they're like, where's an actual man to date me? And you're like, well, but the women are giving themselves away to like the Hassan Piker types with their nails
I
painted
can love
and their
Hassan.
goofy ass haircuts.
That's everybody's.
Do you have beef with Hassan?
I don't know. I just think he's goofy.
You know, like I get your point of view, and it's not for everybody same, but for me, I just want a man, and I cannot blame the man. I'm very honest. If you look at my Instagram, you know I make content. I cannot blame a man for not taking me seriously. Like, oh my God, this woman is probably one night stand. And then they meet me and they're like, oh, you're quite reserved. You also go to church? Oh, what the fuck is this? I understand.
You go to church?
I just started as usual with Christianity.
What church do you go to?
Yeah, it's in the Netherlands. It's in Eindhoven. It's a Christian. I don't know how you call it in the
Okay, well,
Netherlands.
good for you. Keep going.
I just
Sorry.
started that as well, and I know the content thing is not really part of it. I'm working on it, but I'm learning a lot, just like you.
Yeah, keep learning.
And in the Netherlands, yeah, faith is not really a big thing anymore. It's very Muslim country at the moment, but that's not the point. But where do I find a real man? And I cannot blame the man for looking at my Instagram content page for thinking, you know, I cannot take this lady seriously because she makes content. She's just
Not
born.
in the city. They are not.
I do not live in the city. I live in the village. I live in the hood.
Well, you
If
need to
I'm-
not be in the Netherlands, apparently.
Yeah, I've been to a medium as well. They say, oh, he lives not in the Netherlands. But where do I find?
Wyoming. Go to Wyoming. Go to Wyoming. You'll find them. They're there.
Are you there? No.
I'm in Utah, but Utah, Wyoming, Montana, it's all the same place.
But either way, where I cannot blame the man for
I
looking
say
at
go
my
to
page and
church,
everything. I cannot
keep
blame them,
going.
right? But where do I find a man that's like, you know what, I'm still a man?
Also, you want to go to the places that those manly men would usually like be manly at.
Yeah.
You know, and so I feel like church is one of those things. Typically, not always, but church, Bass Pro Shops, you know, stuff like
They're
that.
outdoors.
That's
They
where
live in the
you'll
car
find it.
meetings.
Yeah. The thing is that in the
Go look
city,
lost in Home
women
Depot.
prefer men who paint their nails and do all that kind of stuff, and that's what gets you laid. And so all the men are trying to do that, and then you're like, well, where are the manly men? And they're in a place where women don't prefer that. So you need to go find women who don't like that and hang out with them.
My friends do have that sort of man, but I cannot. I just want to be like a woman. I want to be at home cooking for you, get you a fresh meal, take care of the house. A man doesn't have to lift a finger in my household. It's not his job, in my opinion.
Well, I think
You're probably gonna get some DMs.
That's
I
Jessica
do think
Rabbit on
you
Instagram.
have a double problem here. So the first thing is, yes, there is probably a decrease in the amount of these men that you would deem to be a bit more like traditionally masculine. But the other problem is, even if you do find this sort of men, the traditionally masculine men are probably going to have an issue. I'm not saying this to attack you, but they are probably going to have an issue with the
Consent. And I do not blame them.
Lifestyle.
you being a sex worker.
I do not blame. That's why I cannot
Yeah,
blame them because
sure.
I was a lingerie model first, and they already judged you. I didn't do anything, and then I started my pay.
Yeah.
I cannot blame them for it.
But you still, I mean, as a woman, you still find those kind of men attractive. So that's kind
But
of.
there are not many men left that are just going to the gym, have black hair.
There
You
are.
know, oh my God, come to the Netherlands.
What do you mean? There's a bunch
I
of tall.
go to the gym like 6 days a week. I see them all over the place.
But are they faithful? Are they true? Or are they like fucked up bodybuilders?
Well, that's something
on
you have to
steroids?
find out by
Yeah.
learning about them.
I do got to move things on, but good luck. I'm sure a bunch of men will DM you. We have Giovanni JD. Can I have you read this? Not in your minds, but out loud, if possible.
I'm so sorry. I didn't even know you said my name. You meet effeminate men because you're a prostitute. Masculine men don't want you. And she'll say, lots of masculine men want me.
They're not masculine if they entertain a prostitute.
I didn't say it.
Yeah, in your defense,
I'm
you definitely
masculine.
didn't say that.
I didn't say that. Is this question for me or for everybody?
No, it's a statement. Not so much a question, but.
Dude, do you want to date me? Are you muscular? Are you rich?
He's a lawyer, Giovanni.
Oh my God,
Doesn't he have a
I'm a
wife?
student.
And
I'm a
he's
lawyer
Italian.
student. We can start our own practice. I have money.
Okay.
Yeah, let's go.
We have Psycho to the Dutch lady claiming to be Dutch. If you want a real man, go to the south of the United States.
Claiming to be Dutch. What does that even mean?
That is
My parents, my grandparents, everybody is Dutch. Who the fuck are you?
It's all a ruse.
But if you're spending money, just go to my OnlyFans.
Thank you, Psycho. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. Thank you, man. Let's see. We need to get to Maddie's notes. Maddie, give me just a sec to get that pulled up here. You said you're secretly dating your boss.
Whoa.
I am.
Not anymore.
Yeah, I was gonna say that. Surprise!
Not anymore, right? Because
Yes.
you're the good girl here.
What do you mean? No, I'm still dating him. What do you mean?
Wait,
I'm still dating him. Yeah.
did you throw
I
up
thought you
in
had
your
a
boss's lap?
boyfriend.
Oh, man.
Oh, that's your boyfriend.
That's my boyfriend.
Oh,
That
I
is
thought
my
it was
girlfriend.
another guy. I
Wait,
thought,
she's still
oh.
dating the throw
Yeah.
guy?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, we ended up together. Yeah.
I'm a detective.
Nice.
You have a good memory.
So, okay. You said that you may have groomed a 19-year-old kid when you were 25, 26?
Yeah. Okay. So I wanted to bring that up because everybody always talks about whether it's good to have an age gap relationship, and this is why I think it's wrong, just because of my experience. I had gotten out of a really bad traumatic relationship, and then I was like 25, 26. He was maybe 19, and we became so attached at the hip that it got to the point where he was freaking out, even though I told him I didn't want to date him, that he was like, I'm never going to find anybody else. I love you. Why don't you love me? What are you doing? It was like traumatic for me. And I felt so bad because it had to have been my fault to have done that to somebody younger. You know, does that make sense? That's what I mean by grooming.
Is 19 young here? What are the rules
Yes.
in America?
He was so young.
What is
Yeah.
it in the Netherlands like 18?
What did you
is
do wrong,
great.
though? Like,
well,
what happened?
I guess I feel like I took advantage of him. Like
Did
he
you
was
kiss
almost
him
a
and stuff?
rebound from the ex. And I told him from the get I was not going to be in a relationship, but he kept begging. He kept begging.
He was real in love.
And he's like, I love you, I love you, I love you, and he would not stop. So I got to the point where I had said I love you once, and I mean I did, but I was not on a I'm gonna date
Wait,
you
how long
kind
did
of
you see him for?
way. Under a year.
Okay. But I mean,
So you hurt someone's feelings?
He
Yeah,
brought
he's
he-
19.
he-
He's a full-grown man.
I guess.
How-
Like, maybe
how
I
is
feel
it
guilty
groom-
for no
but How is
reason.
it grooming for, like, you said you're 25, he was 19. Like, how would that be you grooming?
Maybe I used the wrong word, for sure. I
Okay,
just...
all right.
he
You
was
hurt
a
a-
booger.
young
He
men
was-
take heartbreak
he was
incredibly hard.
broken at
That's
the
what I
end of
mean.
that
Men are
relationship.
not
All of them.
And I feel
monsters.
like
They have feelings.
terrible. Yeah.
Okay. You said that you stayed in an insanely toxic relationship with a drug dealer for 3 years.
Yeah, he was insanely addicted to cocaine and did
Okay.
lean. Oh my god.
Is this the guy that
Almost went to
preceded your
jail.
grooming incident?
No, that was the one that was right before it.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So he's the
preceded,
bad
yeah.
relationship.
Yeah.
Do you think
It's
it
all
was your
coming together.
karma for that boy?
Absolutely.
Like God gave
Oh
you
my
like
God.
the
I
terrible
became
man
him in
after
the
this,
next
like haha,
relationship.
punishment.
Yeah. No, yeah. He went to jail like several times.
Really?
Yeah. Like we went to Cancun and I got completely blackout drunk. I don't drink anymore, by the way. Kind of still do.
Word.
But I got
do not
so
drink a
drunk.
little.
I wake up and there's all this yelling outside of our apartment or like hotel room, and all these girls are screaming at him because everybody in the vicinity had thought he was trying to take advantage of me because we were like fighting, screaming. I'm just standing there, literally. I'm just standing there, and they're like, "Why were you screaming? Why were you screaming?" And yeah, we brought the worst out of each other.
Am I the only one who didn't expect this? I was like, oh my God, you're the good girl helping
No, I
deaf
learned.
people
No, I
in a
definitely-
thrift store. And you like
That's
totally
why-
dated a drug dealer and doing bad girl shit.
No, I had
That's
to
amazing.
learn. I had a very terrible upbringing. Yeah.
All right. You said, let's see, we'll get into, you said what you wanted to ask the panel what everyone's definition of high value actually is, especially based off of modern day society.
I like that.
Yeah. Well, you guys always talk about high value, so.
Do we?
Well, kind of.
Maybe
Yeah.
thinking like fresh and fit or like
Yeah.
injury
I just
free.
what is a modern day achievable high value woman?
Achievable high value woman.
Yeah.
Shane, do you want to?
I mean, I guess a high value woman would be someone who makes you feel safe, who doesn't embarrass you, who is loyal, but not just in terms of sex. Someone who will, who doesn't care about like what you have or where you're going, but cares about the content of your character. A high value woman respects and loves you as a man despite what you have or where you're going in life. She just wants to go there with you.
Yeah,
Would you
I like
date a
that
woman
answer.
that's
I like
like
that.
richer than you and achieves more than you? Would you
Yeah,
date
most
that?
so I'm 37. Until I was about 33, I worked 2 jobs and lived paycheck to paycheck, and so most of the women I had dated were doing better than me. So I grew up very poor. So only recently have I come into money, and so yes, I would. I've dated women who make more than me for sure.
Yeah. So I mean, and I wrote this down, when I think it, hold on, I gotta fix this. When I think it comes to being high value, it's an amalgamation of things. So for example, I think a woman having a low body count or being a virgin can make a woman high value. But say she's a virgin or has a low body count, but is heroin addicted and has a bunch of other vices and has a terrible personality, I wouldn't consider this person high value.
Yeah.
So I think it's an amalgamation of things. I don't think it's just simply one thing. But so I guess I wrote down a list of what I think.
Nice.
They don't need to have all of these necessarily, but if they have them, then I think overall this would make a woman high value. So this includes, but is not limited to, beauty, femininity, submissiveness, peaceful, so not quarrelsome, doesn't nag, pleasant, modest, low body count or a virgin, minimal or no current vice, drinking, drugs, smoking, vaping, etc. Minimal or no past vice, drinking, drugs, smoking, vaping, etc. And immediate, undivided, exclusive romantic and sexual attention. So I think there's more things I could list, but to break it down, I think those are probably the most important things.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and on that last one, I think it is amazing that I even need to state this, but I guess prescriptive advice for men. I think at bare minimum, I don't think it under any circumstance, I don't think men should consider or be sexually involved with a woman who is sleeping with another man, or even worse, multiple other men. And other guys, for example, other guys who will say shit like, well, she's not relationship material, but I'd still smash, or recreational use only. I say no use only. So even if you're a guy and if you're inclined to have like casual hookups, one night stands, or friends with benefits, I still think it's an L for you to sleep with a girl who is or has recently been sexually active with another man.
Yeah. Okay.
Valid.
Yeah. I agree with most of those except for you said past issues with alcoholism or drugs. Why that one? If it's in the past.
It's the same reason as body count.
Look, I mean, some people have different, some people don't have objections to things in your past. I do think it's a potential red flag. I think people can redeem themselves. I think people can have made mistakes in their past and absolutely go on and be great partners, be good people. I just think if you can always optimize for like the best potentiality. So I would say that someone who has no past of vice or minimal past of vice is likely to be a more optimal choice.
Yeah.
Now, nobody's perfect.
Yeah.
People are going to make mistakes. But when it comes to dating, both men and women are always going to want to try to get the most optimum partner they can.
I know
So, yeah. Me personally, I'm not a big drinker, don't do drugs, smoking, whatever. So, rarely drink. So.
You should try it.
Oh, there's nothing to be gained.
Why should I try
Because it's
it?
silly
That's
juice.
that makes you
No. But when it tears your family apart,
Yeah, or puts you in dangerous
Yeah, I'm
situations.
impervious.
destroy homes.
Yeah, I'm impervious to peer pressure. I'm not really interested in drinking, but
Hey, no.
I don't. Yeah, I just
If
never.
you're not addicted to it.
On the same card, previous vice is bad, but sometimes it is like if you have a 5-year chip, that is like an indicator that you've changed and you can do the work, and that's actually a positive for a lot of
Yeah,
people.
absolutely.
So there is that also. If you are doing the work in redeeming yourself and changing, and it's like I can see it, that's a huge green flag.
Right, so if she's got the 5-year chip, then she... then
Yeah,
you
she's
don't
putting
mind
in
anymore?
work, but if you're like, and that's the same thing with the body count. If you're like, hey, I've been so good for this long, this is how I behave, this is what I'm up to, these are my boundaries. But if you were like, I'm in a relationship with you now, but last month,
Yeah,
you're like, okay, well, what am I doing here?
Yeah.
So.
Yep. I'm trying to see what else though. I'll actually even take it a step further than like I'm moving off from the vice, but when it comes to like the recreational use only, all that stuff, and how some men will like sleep with a girl who's sexually active with other men. I think that should be the bare minimum, but I actually take it a step further and I say, if a girl is dating other men, I'm not interested.
I really don't think there's anything wrong with that.
Is that controversial?
I think it is. Well, it's controversial insofar as the way a lot of people move in the dating landscape. They're like, they're involved with other people. You know, like a lot of
Sure.
girls, they're dating some other dude. Most women aren't ever really single. A lot of them are never truly. There's some dude in the picture, some guy they're hooking up with, whatever it is. And so, but even if they're not hooking up with a guy, but they're just like going on 3, like this girl right here, no offense, Isis.
No, not good.
She said she went on like 7 dates a week. If I was like date number 2 and then she's like, yeah, I got 5 more dates lined up, or even if she didn't tell me but I knew about it, I would just lose interest. Like I would lose interest
That's
if I knew.
okay. Like I think that's totally valid because I want to be the next bachelorette, but
Oh
you
my
probably
goodness.
don't want to date someone who want to be the next bachelorette. So
Yeah.
it's
I
like,
feel like
that
that's
totally makes sense. You're entitled to your opinion, and you'll find a girl that's perfect for you. Just like I'll find a guy that's perfect for me.
Brian, you're gonna find love.
Yeah, don't worry. Like, it's okay. You don't have to prove that to me. I agree with you.
Okay, cool. And then you wanted to talk about what a woman brings to a relationship because I think the podcast has really changed my opinion on that.
Yeah, no. So I started watching a couple months ago. I'm a big fan now. But it really made me think, you know, we talk about how men bring all this to the table, right? They're the providers. They'll build the house, right? But in modern day, because it kind of goes along with what's a modern day woman, what does a woman bring to the table nowadays? I had to have this conversation with my boyfriend because I was really, really interested. Because prior to being married, I'm not necessarily cleaning, cooking, and doing all these things, having his kid, right? So I guess I just wanted to see everybody else's opinion on that. Besides your body, because to me, I don't understand why people's bodies on both sides even matter.
I think
more
this
than
is a
soul.
problem again we are facing. Women becomes more men nowadays. We have to work, we have to do this, we have to do that. So how am I going to take care of a house if I have to do everything the same as a man?
Yeah. So what is a modern version of what a woman
Do you
brings
want
to
to
the
be
table?
a modern version of a woman?
No.
I think you have to ask yourself that. Do I want to be a half of a man in a relationship? If you do not want to be powerful as a woman and act like a woman and let the man be the man.
That's fair.
Stop comparing yourself to men because you're not.
Yeah.
If a man builds a house, a woman's job is to fill it with love.
She makes it a home.
You are the
Exactly,
heart
yeah.
of the
Yeah,
house.
yeah,
A man
yeah.
makes the house and you are the heart of it.
What men want is peace. So you
Yeah.
need to bring peace, love, and gentleness into the life of someone who doesn't experience that on the daily.
Yeah.
If you're a man, you're not experiencing gentleness, you're not experiencing kindness, and you're very rarely experiencing love. Even the love of your brothers is not the same as the love of a woman. So it's your job to bring love, gentleness,
Be the
and
woman.
you know, these sorts of things in peace. Most importantly, peace. That's why when he says no nagging, no quarrelsome,
Yeah.
it's like my whole life is conflict. As a man, at any time, like there's so many times when you're like, I'm about to fight this guy right now. Like all the time, your whole life is just you're hyper aware of the violence around you
Yeah.
and how competitive other men are, and yada yada yada. And when you come home, you want a woman to bring peace, gentleness, and love into your life.
And that's exactly my point. There are a lot of women saying, oh, men do not understand how it is to be a woman. We do not understand what it is to be a man, and how to be tough, and how to defend your home and everything else, and not be able to speak about some things. I think if you want to be like the heart of the house and be like feminine,
You just
don't
be
be the man.
proactively gentle.
Be
You can't
so
just, like,
proud of being a
exist.
woman and be
Yeah.
strong at being a woman.
You can't exist in the space, though. You have to be proactive with it. You have to be
Just be proud
proactively
that you
gentle,
are a woman and
proactively
carry
loving.
yourself as a woman. Just be proud.
I have a question. Why are you expecting women to provide you the peace? Why can't you go see a therapist and find peace within yourself or like your God?
Oh, I have tons of like personal peace in my life, but in terms of a relationship where I'm sharing a space with another person and we're building a life or a home or a situation together, then what I have to offer isn't so much that. I think that a woman is better equipped to bring love, gentleness, and peace into my life.
Shane, if I can jump in on
Please.
this. So I think, you have peace when you're single.
Yes.
And so when we say we want peace from a woman, it's not like our life is chaotic. Or excuse me, sorry, I'm on the switchboard here too now, and I'm in hosting. So if your life is, hold on, how do I want to frame this here? So if your life is not chaotic as a guy, like we're not looking, or no, if your life is chaotic as a guy, we're not looking for women to like be a cure to the chaos in our lives. We just don't want you to add more to it.
There you go.
Like we don't want you to like be a liability. We don't want arguing and drama and conflict. We want you to like, you said comfort earlier.
Yes.
We want you to be our peace and comfort.
Yeah, not a burden.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know how like if you have a problem and you tell a man, he tries to give you the solution, and that's annoying, right? You don't want a solution-oriented man. You want a listening, supportive man. Men want that, but it's not just in terms of listening. A man needs a physical space full of that. Like I want you to proactively love me, bring gentleness and kindness into my life. I want to be in the space and be so thankful that you're sharing that space with me, because together we have created a place where I feel safe and good. Because I could do that without you, but it's more rewarding with you, but only if you're playing ball. You know, and then I'll provide you with security, safety, possibly money, and these sorts of things.
Yeah, I would always
Can you
prefer.
tilt your mic down?
I would always
Just
prefer.
tilt it down.
Like this?
Yeah, go ahead.
I would
You
always
prefer what?
prefer peace and harmony over chaos, of course. I agree with that.
But so I'm a little curious by your questioning here because, like, are you trying to say that men should have an expectation that women coming into a relationship are gonna create chaos?
No, that's not my expectation.
Or that we should, like, tolerate your nagging and quarreling?
No, I don't think that's the case either.
But so then why the objection to the claim of men
No,
wanting
I was
peace?
just more curious in his personal experience if he is depending on women to give him peace, or has he found peace himself? So it's like a particular
I'm
case.
depending on the woman to bring me the peace that only feminine energy, the gentleness that only feminine energy can bring me. I cannot replicate that. And so I need a woman to fill my life with that. And the only way to do, but you have to be proactive in it. And a lot of people aren't. So that's what a woman can bring. She doesn't need to provide. She doesn't need to be sexy. She doesn't need to do all these crazy porn star things or whatever. She just needs to make me feel safe, loved, and peaceful.
I love that.
All right, and then I think your last thing here, or you have two things. You think your craziest stories are more partying stories than actual people I dated. Your senior year, I dated a guy who purposely drove 100 miles in the pouring rain to scare me to death, then threatened me with BDSM toys.
So I'm so dead serious. Yes.
What?
Yeah. Like I said, bad childhood, great adult. But no, senior year, I dated a guy that was much, much older than me, and I was drinking at a party, and I called him because I needed a ride out of there because there were people showing up that I didn't want to be around. He got so unbelievably mad at me because he had to come and pick me up, and it was torrential downpour rain. He was driving 100 miles down the road, and told me when we got to his place that he purposely did that to scare me. And then this weirdo he goes into another room, comes back, and just starts laying out BDSM toys. Like, these are going to be your punishment for needing me to come pick you up.
That's so
I
hot.
dated that guy for 1 week, and he said he had never loved someone more in his life. And I broke up with him because of that experience. And he shows up at my mom's apartment door, banging on the door, because he could not understand why I broke up with him.
It's kind of sexy.
How does he know your mom's?
I don't know, actually. I don't remember. But I think he might have picked me up from there.
How old was he and how
But you
old
were
were
in
you?
the
Remember,
car
he was
while
like
he was driving?
28 maybe.
And how old were you? if I-
19.
Still sexy though.
It's not. It was terrifying.
You
I
were
was-
in the car while he was driving really fast?
Yeah, ever since then, anytime I'm in a car with a guy and he gets mad and starts driving
That's so
faster,
scary.
it gives
You
me
puke on him?
anxiety.
You know-
Oh, sorry.
That's PTSD.
You know, just give him a blowjob in the car when he's mad. He will not be mad anymore. It's
No,
great.
that is abuse. That is not right.
We have a message from Psycho. The fact that you only noticed me spending money and suggested your OF might want to commit more to the Christian lifestyle and shut down your OF. This is to the lady claiming to be Dutch. Lol.
You know, I read this before you pulled it up. What is your thing with claiming to be Dutch? Do you want to see my passport? Do you want to go out and eat stroopwafels and croquetten with me? It's fine. I will take you out and we can have some Dutch food. You can come over with me and be a Dutchie with me. I'm totally Dutch. You can stay at my house as well for free. You do not have to pay me. That's fine. Yeah, I'm Dutch. What do you want?
The Twitch.
Go to twitch.tv/whatever. Drop us a follow and a Prime sub if you have one. We haven't had a Prime in 12 minutes, guys. I think it's bugged. Help.
All right. And then we are going to last things here. We have a few clips to react to from ISIS.
We're reacting to some ISIS TikToks.
Finally getting to them. There's so many, but okay.
You pick.
We have the highlight reels.
So I was sad. So
Oh, this is.
So, guys, I think I'm going to go, actually.
We're about to wrap if you can stay
Really?
for a bit longer.
Oh, all right. I want to say thank you anyway. So,
All right,
It's all right.
ISIS, read this.
Currently, I only care about two things: orgasms and follower count.
fair point.
Queen.
You forgot money.
No, I care more about follower count right this moment.
Okay. Sorry, 1 sec, guys.
The distance between you realize that that man is about to kiss you till he actually kisses you, that length dictates how douchey he is. All the finance bros, before I realize it, they already over here and finished kissing me. When there's this one guy, he was like very slowly, but I know he's got no game, but that makes me feel safe. It makes me feel like he's authentic. It made me know who he is. Not those finance bros that just like in and I can't, like, that's too smooth. Something is off.
That's an interesting choice.
Yeah, I'm a bit confused.
Do you live in Manhattan?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
I'm gonna come visit
Seemed
you.
like it.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
go there
Please
all the
do.
time.
If you tip under 20%, do not go on a date with me. Okay, that's embarrassing for me.
Oh, geez.
That's kind of
That's
valid.
harsh.
Yeah, I tip 20% usually. But I think it depends, right? Like, if you're not making a lot of money, I don't think first of all, I will go on a date with you. So because I know that I don't want you to spend the money that you don't have. So because of my standard, I say 20%. I just don't want to be embarrassed.
How much?
Because that's the type of person.
But if he would take you out on a picnic, that wouldn't cost a thing. Would you like go?
Yeah, of course I love picnics.
How much does a guy have to make for you to
Yeah.
go on a date with him?
Yeah.
I think at least 200K a year, at least.
How do you find out?
I kind of think about their job.
Just context
title,
clues?
Context clues.
All right.
But
So you
sometimes
don't
I ask.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
You ask how much they make?
Yeah, I
First
ask.
date before taking you out.
Ask her how tall again?
How tall does a guy have to be for you to date him?
In the past, I said 6 feet, but now I said like I'm flexible. Yeah.
We got another video?
I'm gonna delete this tomorrow.
But it's the
But let me be
same
real.
thing as a
There are
story,
only
though.
2 things I care about right now in my life. 1 is orgasms. 2 is my followers count.
But this is the same as my story.
But you did not delete this video.
This is part of her 2024
There's still time.
unhinged era.
Sorry.
Men can stop DMing me. I'm not going to respond to any of you. Like, I'm sorry, but with all due respect, who do you think you are? How do you think you're adding to my life? First of all, I will become a billionaire. So if you're gonna give me money, then sure, you're adding to my life. That's worth maybe 3 seconds of conversation. Other than that, first of all, you cannot give me orgasm, not as good as the ones I give myself. Second of all, men traumatizes me. When I see you right now, I want to throw up. That doesn't mean I hate you. I don't hate you at all. I just don't want anything to do with you. And if you didn't do 5 years of therapy, and if you couldn't do all the hobbies I could do, then just shut up. You're not worth it. I'm sorry. Make yourself worth more, or give me money.
But if a billionaire slides in your DM, you would, right?
I will go on a date with him.
But you say do not DM me, so you
I'm
scare
saying,
them off a little bit.
That's okay.
Were they being mean to you? Is that why you posted that? Were you just getting crazy DMs from people being mean?
Oh yeah, I was getting a lot of DMs at the time because I had this like incident with Equinox because a lot of men go to Equinox, so I was getting a lot of bad DMs from men, and also that was about the time I was blowing up a little, so there's a lot of opinion from men. That is pretty bad. But those are not the TikToks I think are the best representation of my life, but I don't think they're the funniest.
Wait, so okay, really quick. So what you keep saying this stuff about the orgasms and that the men, they're not pleasing you, right? But like, isn't this the complaint that women have about men, that they have porn brain and they can no longer like get erections, or like they're not sexually pleased because they're like so demented by all the porn they've watched? But like, do you watch porn?
I do watch porn, but not very often.
Yeah,
I just
and you-
focus on my vibrator.
It's just a vibrator you use?
Yeah,
Is
so
it a
like
dildo
if
or a
I
vibrator?
have vibrator or dildo, then I don't need porn because they're very strong. But if I'm like, for example, right now I'm vacationing and I didn't bring my vibrator, so like I might want some visual stimulation. It's either or, it depends.
Okay.
Can you do without? Can you do like months without
So, like,
sexual stimulation?
Like if it depends on the situation. When I was in a long-term relationship, when they first broke up, it was like I would have wet dreams if I don't masturbate. But then if there was right now, there's a long ass time I haven't had sex, so now I'm like whatever. I
can you
can't
do
go
Wait,
without-
how long have you been celibate?
Yeah.
because I don't know because I didn't keep track of the month. The last time I had sex was earlier this year with my ex.
Like 9 months ago?
Did you almost say
No,
husband
this
just
year,
now?
This year. Ex.
I think she said, then
Oh,
maybe
okay.
that
We
would
were
be
kind of
mistaken.
serious, like ex.
Wait, so you've been celibate for like...
So you didn't marry
Month.
him when he brought that
Gross.
ring and the champagne to you, and then get a divorce, and you're hiding it?
I didn't get a divorce now.
Oh, so you're still married?
No, I'm not married. No.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
not married.
You were previously married?
No.
You proposed.
I never
Keep
married.
up.
Oh, okay.
That's not what I said.
Yeah. Wait, so I'm just... I'm just curious. So like all the men that like can't make you come, now that you've like masturbated so much, is it hard for you to climax?
No, it's not.
With
It's
a man?
easier. It's easier because I know what I like. I know which angle I like, and I know
Okay.
how to clinch more.
But do you think a man can
It's a
probably
practice. I got better at
do it
orgasm.
for you? Do you think a man would ever be good enough in bed for you?
Yeah, of course. I have men that are good for me, but like I have to have emotional connection.
There's a few more videos. I'll get this pulled up. Maddie, take it away. Take it away, Maddie.
Go Maddie, go Maddie, go Maddie.
Take it away.
More TikToks from ISIS?
Okay, I'm pulling it up right now.
Okay.
So,
I was sad, so I tried to use my happy machine. But obviously all you can think about is him. So it wasn't that happy, but also the cord was so short, and then they just like unplugged right in the middle. When I tried to plug it, I plugged the wrong thing. I plugged in my charger. Female orgasm is the only activity that lights up every part of a female brain.
That's actually funny.
Right now because I can't go in class.
This actually
Is
is
that, like,
funny.
a bit?
It is funny actually. We've all been there,
That
right?
actually happened.
We all been there. Like you are horny and your toy doesn't work. It's
Divorce
kinda
is hard.
funny. Oh, shut up! Come on.
I feel like I'm on to something here.
Should I read that?
This one, hold on.
Should I-
Yeah, can you read it?
The CCP plant is arguably the most despicable woman to ever be on the podcast. Promotes promiscuity, prostitution, findom, essay against men, abortion, cuckoldry, pornography, and she's R-worded. Demon.
About who is this?
I feel like you're talking about her.
Who is this about?
Yeah, I think they are.
ISIS, I think.
Don't worry, mama. You're a queen.
Speaking of the pin, so like he has the largest I've ever seen, it's like 9, because I know it, because I always know this is 6, because I measure it, because I don't want men to fool me. So every time before I do anything with them, I like measure it. So like I know it's 1, 2, 3, 9. But you know what? For someone who's so handsome and so well endowed, he's really not good at, sex. It's just